Okay.
Interiors still suck though. I'm sorry, they do.
Yeah, they do. All right, who wants to do the recap?
It's me. I don't want to, but I
Okay.
will. Um,
Thanks. No, I
somebody
appreciate
has
it,
to
Amanda.
sacrifice themselves. Uh, After defeating the demon general, some kind of magical effect hit a wide area, killing some of the soldiers and turning them into blob monsters. Gretna, Pan, and Theo were able to take down the ones created in the first wave, but unfortunately the effect spread to nearby soldiers, so they had to then contain their attacks and finally stop it. Max and Erastus started fighting the Howlers and the goat, managing to take out all the Howlers, but the goat ends up making its escape. After the battle, the general yells at his soldiers not to run and to get checked out by the medics. Umber climbs over the wall and goes to check out the river, and Water walks over to the demon general's body and casts Detect Magic, finding a spear and some object that is on fire. Sio touches the spear with her rod, which glows but doesn't steal it. Sio then asks to borrow the ring of water walking and walks out to the body of the demon general. The rod glows for the general, and Sio goes to approach the body of a howler. After she touches the howler with the rod, she then touches the Demonomicon with the rod, which causes the book to disappear. The human general then starts to interrogate the party, but thanks them for helping fight the hordes. He says the mayor probably caused the demon incursion, and that Erastus can burn down the house the mayor may be in if he wants to. Sio messages her brother, and he tells her that he's most likely underneath the city and to go into a specific house looking for a bleeding map to find him. Erastus talks to the general and asks if he's seen Sio's brother, with which the general responds and says the demon spawn probably helped the mayor with the incursion.
Yep.
Can you guys still hear me? Sorry, I think
Yeah.
my internet's being weird.
Yep.
I just lost
No, we can
connection to
hear you.
Tailspire for a second.
So did I.
I did too, actually. I don't know what the hell that was.
Okay.
That was
Oh, no.
fucking weird.
Are we sure the goat did the goat get away? I swear I killed it.
Did it get away, Chris? Because I remember seeing the mini move off the map.
No, he killed it.
Okay.
I threw one off a bridge.
No, the goat
Yeah.
mini specifically. It moved like into the town, and usually you just delete them.
Yeah, he did kill it. I must have not deleted it then.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I got confused with that one. I take that back. The goat is dead.
Yay.
The human general says the demons may have come to find the Lightbringer, a powerful weapon hidden beneath the city. Sio runs around to every character and then collects them to go find her brother. We discuss going into the house while Pan's dancing object is still active, but it's decided that it would be better for everyone to go into their books to level up so that we're ready for whatever might happen in the house. Gretna goes into her book early. A few people go into the book early, but before anybody else can go, a small glowing child comes up to the group and says he has an offer from Mr. Light. We respond saying that we have to take a long rest first, so he says he'll come back in the morning. However, after he disappears, Kiri tells Sio that there is a child hiding in the corner. Sio speaks to the child and he appears, and it's the same child that just told us about the offer. The child is embarrassed about being caught, thinking that not only would it look bad on him, but also that Mr. Light would get upset with him if word got back that the child had been trying to spy on us. In return for agreeing not to tell anyone about the whole situation, he gave Max a magical box that summoned some kind of tree with fruits on it. With that, he left to come back in the morning, and everyone minus Sio went into their books to level up.
Cool. Awesome.
Just
Thanks.
just double checking, Chris.
Yep.
Do you have the item for that?
Yeah, I did. That's right. Hold on. I did not send you the thing. Hold on. One second.
No, I haven't got it.
Hold on 1 second. This was for the identify. And do you remember what type of item it was, so I can find it in my notes easily?
Well, it's that box that grows the fruit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was something. Never mind. Yeah, that's right. You guys never looked at the other thing. I was like, how did I not put that down? No, the yeah. So you would have to go through the identify on that.
Okay.
But do you want to mess with it? Because if so, we can go through it. You would have to identify it.
I guess I can try identify it. I don't know identify.
No. What I mean is you will have to have someone identify it, or you just use it. That's how the magic items work.
Okay.
So
Alright.
you don't need to. This one doesn't require attunement. So if you want to mess with it and try to use it, you can. By using it, so it's a small box that has metallic edges on each side. The box is made out of some kind of shiny paper with these metallic edges that solidify the box into a more substantial, like basically little trinket box. And it opens up into this ethereal tree that has fruit on each end of it. These little fruits are like tiny like orbs, and they're a purplish pink color.
Okay. I'll leave it for now, but I'll keep it in my bag.
Now here's the magic piece to this. If so, it when it's open, it does that. But if you carefully start like closing the other two sides of it, the tree itself will literally collapse as if it was made of some kind of almost like pop-up box all the way down, so that you can close this thing and store it.
There we go.
Okay.
Izuku. I lost connection again. Are you guys losing connection too? This is definitely a Tailspire thing.
I lost
Tails-
connection.
Yep. Tailspires sent out a tweet or something saying that they're having issues.
Yeah. It's
I'm back
gotta be
now.
Tailspire. All right, cool. Okay. All right, awesome. Thanks. All right, so yeah, so we'll start off there. Remember, he said he would come back in the morning. So what time do people, because you're in your books, you literally just take the 8 hours, so everyone's going to come out early this time. What time do you guys want to start essentially like getting ready and talking? If you want, we can just take the 8 hours from the exact time that you guys went in the books, and we'll just go out. So if that's the case, it'll be somewhere around so it was like 9 o'clock. So it would literally be like 6 in the morning.
Well,
Well,
that works for me.
Go ahead.
we did say we'll meet the kid at 8.
Yep.
So, I guess at least when Max wakes up, he'll just do his morning routine, his morning workout.
Okay. Yep.
I wouldn't also mind taking some time to investigate the Dragon Shard.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, go
over
ahead. Go ahead.
breakfast.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check on that every time you do it. So
All right, so this would be my first time doing it.
I
Yep.
have the same thing. So when I get up and I see him doing that, can I help him? 'Cause
yeah,
I have this
of course,
Dragon Shard as well.
absolutely, yeah, yep. Yeah, you're gonna tell him everything you've learned about it this far, and you guys are gonna look at it together.
All right, so with advantage, that's a 26.
All right. So as you start messing with the shard, it glows internally, and even like looking at it, you notice, Umbra, that there's differences in this between other magic items. First of all, it doesn't feel the same, but second of all, when you try to reach out to figure out what this could even like how to break it down to meld it into something, or if it's something that you could just like use as a battery or conduit, you realize that it will be dangerous to break apart, but possible. And it's also there's not enough power in it to make it any kind of power source. However, when you break it, a bunch of that magical power could actually release, which is why it's so incredibly hard to like use this to make magic items with or whatever. But that's all you would know from this time. You have to do this many more times in order to get to the bottom of how to craft something with this. But
Okay.
you're off to a good start.
Is there like a cooldown on how many times I can investigate it?
day.
Is it like
Once
okay?
a day.
Thank you.
It's once a day. Yeah, once a day.
Well, could I give it a shot, or because I helped him?
Yeah. No, you can still give it a shot. But he can't. But here's the thing: you won't be able to roll with advantage twice now. You'll just have to do it on your own.
Okay,
One of
it's fine.
like once
I'll
a
try.
day, you guys can team up, and then somebody can do it normally.
Funny enough, it's
Yeah,
26.
same thing. Yeah,
26.
so the only other thing that you realize is that there isn't a tool that you've ever seen that can crack this thing safely, and that's why you're gonna have to keep going. If you crack dragon shards, if you can even find a way to crack them, and you crack them improperly, what'll end up happening is in a very close proximity to you, it's going to release whatever's inside of it, which is probably caustic magic, which means to one person as it's cracked instantaneously, it's not a 5 foot square or anything, it's whoever cracks it, that person's going to end up taking the brunt of it. And if you had a lot of them and did this, it'd just probably kill you. So whenever you figure this out, and whenever that is, it's just that these can be dangerous once broken open. But the only way to meld something like to make a magic item with dragon shards is to figure out a safe way to do that and not end up destroying yourself or the tool or whatever. So yeah. All right. All right, so it's 6 o'clock in the morning. You guys do have a couple hours. Is there anything anybody wants to do before? Or
I have a I have a question
ahead.
real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are we able to do in our books?
So the only thing you're able to do within your books are level. So you can actually you can ask your teachers mundane questions, but they never actually work. They never actually come through to work. Hold
I
on
was
one
just
second for me.
okay.
Go ahead. Hold on.
Yeah, Max is just over in this corner, just like doing push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and shit.
I'm gonna start working on a breakfast.
So the book is like we go in there to level, quote unquote, and so it's like there's somebody in there supposed to be like teaching us, and it's kind of like a meditative type of thing.
Yeah, you never get their name. It's just like a trainer.
Okay, gotcha. I was just trying to
Yeah.
figure it because it didn't really get explained too well to me. It was just like you got a book and it's magical and that's how you level type thing. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure exactly what we were doing inside there.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
No, you're all good, homie. But I'm gonna go to the river and
Yep.
immerse myself in water for an hour.
Perfect. Yep.
Around that time, because they've worked together before, uh, Shaklu would be getting up for the morning too, and he would just bathe, just because yesterday was kind of harrowing. Like he'll pick through all his supplies and like, okay, that's broken, this can't be used anymore, and clean himself up basically. And he goes from being clad in misshapen, warped, beaten to hell armor into basically traveler's clothes with some chain and padding underneath. Seems much more comfortable, but that's only because he lost a lot of stuff in the little combat they had.
Yep. And Ezekiel, you probably what'll end up happening is you'll go to the river and you'll be like, "Fuck that," because there's just too many like demons in it or whatever. However, there are little pools. Like if you look at my
Well,
thing,
I'll just like
you'll
scoop
find one of
out
the
water.
pools. Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
like take a jug of like from my backpack, go down to the river, scoop some water, bring it back to a bigger barrel, and just like put the water in there for the next 20
Yep.
to 30 minutes, and then submerge
That-
myself in that.
That's perfect. There's also these little pools where there's water deep enough that you can just jump it down there too. It's totally fine. So for this
Yeah,
time,
whichever.
it works out. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
I just want to use some of that leftover fish meat I kept,
Yep.
and some ingredients I'm sure I can get from the
Yep.
houses, and actually use an oven and make a decent breakfast.
Sure. Go ahead and roll. Sure.
Between CO doing her own level and the warlock session, she would still be back in around this same time? Because I know I
Yes.
get shunted. I don't just kind of dip
Yeah.
off into my book.
No, but you would still get back. You actually get back before. And by the way, now you have all the knowledge that you would have. So now you get all the knowledge from your warlock session, including everything else that would have happened up until then, including messages people have sent you or whatever. So
Okay. I don't know what knowledge I actually get from the warlock session yet, but
yeah.
Chris, that is a 28.
Okay. All right.
So I
Yes.
harass this range.
Exceptionally. Yeah, you are exceptionally awesome at making breakfast. So what did you make?
Can I find some bread? Things to
Yep.
make bread. I would
Yep.
like to make salmon biscuits, and I will butter the biscuits and put little peeled things of the fish on the side, and if I can find some like milk, little milk and biscuits.
Yeah,
Milk and butter
I mean,
biscuits.
not only are they exceptionally good, but with the very sparse ingredients you could find, especially with everything overturned and there being like the house being ransacked, and even like blood everywhere and everything, you were still able to not only make an exceptional breakfast, but also make enough for everybody, which was a
Just want to
challenge.
quickly interject that
Yeah.
there's some 5A recipes, and I'll just put them in game chat too.
That's awesome.
It's
Oh,
like a
well,
whole full-fledged list of them.
Nice.
I'm going to save that, but I am right now Erasmus Fury again.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
we have this book. We actually physically own this book.
Ah, very nice.
I think I might as well. Then. Yeah,
It's the D&D cookbook.
Yeah.
Kaylee
Yeah, I have it.
made, last week she made the Dwarven meatballs. They were very good.
Very
I think
nice.
All right. So, is there anything else that anyone wants to do outside of like this stuff? Because we still have like an hour or two until that invitation is coming. You guys can also decide to just not be there when this is, happening. But it is going to happen around 8 o'clock.
Um, Go
I
ahead.
think CO would waking up from leveling and what happened in the warlock session. She'd probably go downstairs and like try and tidy up and get things ready for Erasmus to cook, since that's not a commodity we've really had available to us until now. But after that, she would just sit and she'd sit downstairs next to the fire and until probably the child gets there, she's just gonna sit and write to I can write to 4 people because my proficiency bonus went up. So I can write to Kino, Honoree, Fintrix, and Rin, and CO is just going to occupy herself doing that until everyone's done eating breakfast and all.
Now, this is the very first time that you guys have noticed this coming out. You noticed a bit of it last night, but no one noticed exactly what this, because it was a little annoying. But as you get as people are coming
You're
inside out of the house as well, you notice that there is in the back an ever burning, meaning it burned all last night. Apparently, it's still burning this morning. Pile of just bodies and bone and other things. It's been burning this entire time. Everyone, or at least most of you, would know that to make bodies burn like this, you would need to refill the fire or for it to be tended. You haven't seen anyone tending this fire at all. The fire is not actually a bonfire. It's actually just a slow, low burning fire. So the fire must be unnatural, but the bodies are still burning.
Are they
They're
still
all
feeding it?
Yeah. No, no one's feeding it. For instance, no one's come to tend this fire. Same amount of bodies, but all of the muscle, sinew, everything's burned off. It's just really bones at this point. They're all blackened, but the fire still burns, so it's a natural fire.
Breakfast is
see.
ready.
I'll go down to breakfast.
I'm gonna
Oh,
ring my
this is
bell.
Ding,
I've never
ding,
actually
ding,
used
ding.
it. but I'm
Everyone will
gonna
be
ring
able to smell this, by the way. It'll smell exceptionally good.
it. It's okay. I did okay. I did the best of what I got.
Max, how you feeling?
I feel ready, and you see Max's hands. This sort of aura around them appears. I feel like now I'm not going to struggle so much against that general that took my life.
That's wonderful to hear.
How
you
did it
like
go for the rest of you?
I beat a demon with another demon, so that was cool.
Last night? Is that what the
Oh,
kids are
last
calling
night.
it?
Oh, whoops.
I'm talking about last night, yeah.
Oh, it's I don't want to talk about it. But I made butter biscuits.
Yes, I can smell them. They
They
smell
sound.
amazing. Yes, smell and sound amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, there's also
I-
some of that monster fish that I laid out in some fillets. And there's milk in the corner.
I head over and I grab some. Thank you, Erasmus.
You're welcome.
Max, did you tune to that
Welcome
spirit
to
yet?
Flavor Town. Goodbye.
I would say that at this point is when Chikulu gets back and seems kind of awkward that he just like strolls in and he starts, helping himself to the food. Doesn't really say much, but like the way he's glancing around, like he knows it, like kind of out of place, but no one seems to have said anything anymore at this point yet.
I don't eat those biscuits. Those aren't your biscuits. Those are friendship biscuits.
Shakul, I'm gonna say he's holding one in his hand right now, and he seems somewhat confused. Like, was Erastus serious when he said this, or was it sort of a joking tone?
Find out.
Like, I can't even tell from his
Wouldn't-
face. Okay, cool. He
Erastus is pretty awkward. He might be serious, but
Uh.
yeah, but he's probably not. He's not wearing his armor right now, so he's about as threatening as a chubby 9-year-old.
Oh no, I thought he's an orc, right?
No, he's a turtle. I just
Oh,
think
a
he's
turtle.
mini.
Oh yeah, okay, a turtle.
When he's on his armor, he kind of waddles when he walks. He's really chubby and he's short and he's got a really fucked up looking shell. He's completely different when he's on his armor. He's a total bitch.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you for the description. Since he's not in like his, misshapen and destroyed full plate anymore, you can see that Chikulu is a hobgoblin. He's kind of tall for a hobgoblin, but still in the, normal humanoid spectrum, just like 5'5", maybe somewhere around there. Obviously red skin, orange eyes, black hair that kind of goes down to shoulder length. He's just wearing, like I said, simple clothes and like some armor underneath. But anyway, like those aren't yours. Those are friendship biscuits. He was like holding one and he like froze, like look of utter confusion in his face, and he like slowly took a bite and chewed on it and like swallowed it like kind of awkwardly, like just staring at each other for like 30 seconds, and then we finished.
Well, that was a culinary contract you just signed with your mouth, sir. So
He smiles and nods and like takes another bite and says, "Oh, if that's what signing contracts with you is like, I'd rather work for you. Thank you for the
well,
food."
you
And
do now. So yeah.
he finishes the biscuit and he's still not sure about what's going on, but he dusts himself off a little bit and he holds out a hand to shake Orassus's hand, and he says, "Chikulu Bardus at your service."
I will shake your hand back, tentatively, looking around for approval. Social anxiety overwhelming me, and I will say, "My name is Erastus. I make the biscuits around here."
I'll come over and say, and he does a really good job of them, I must say. Hi, I'm Max. We haven't been able to properly
And
introduce ourselves yet.
I'm just gonna get nervous and I'm gonna leave the room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go outside. It's too much.
As Erasmus like breaks the conversation as if he's in combat and runs, Shakulu's just like, all right, and
Don't mind him. He's a bit shy.
he exchanges pleasantries
Oh,
with
crap.
Max. All right, he exchanges pleasantries with Max, like, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" And he bows a little bit, but it seems more like he's leaning in, and he's very obviously looking at. Is your neck scarred at all?
It would be a little bit, yeah. There'd be a few scars, so that sort of trail up, from my body. Like you can tell they trail up from my body, but there's a few scars sort of on my neck and around my face.
All right. And he sort of makes
There's also now a very, very thin but very noticeable scar where Gretna had to like reattach your head with her medicine check because the cut was like imperviously clean. It actually cuts on the atom level, Vorpal blades, but when it comes to like the reattachment, that was the imperfection. So so there's a little bit of that there too.
It's like a really, really dense scar, but it's just like wafer thin.
Yeah, yeah.
Shakulu sort of like does a sort of like nervous half smile and just says, I gotta say, I've seen men come back from the brink after a bloody battle, but I don't think I've ever seen any come back from the other side. You're a lucky man."
Well, yes, I have Gretna to thank for that, and let me tell you, it was an experience.
Where is our little miracle maker? And he looks around kind of nervous.
Don't wake her up. She's really grouchy in the morning.
I was gonna say Gretna's not out of her book yet, and then of course out of character, Gretna will be back next session. She's on vacation.
Oh yeah,
She's really grouchy. Don't wake her up.
nice.
Oh wait, never mind. And I'm gonna realize that I'm participating in social interaction and run away.
Oh, right. You already said. You guys have a pretty decent outfit here. It could use with some organization, but good work is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
He
yes,
was talking to Max.
yeah, well, I only joined these folks a few days ago, and I thought the same thing. I thought they were pretty well equipped, and they're able to take care of themselves quite well.
What made you stay? And at this point, Shakulu has pulled up a chair and he's just sort of like leaning on this table here. If there is more than one chair, not just the one.
Well, put it simply, I promised I'd help CEO find her brother, as he was located in Nith. I grew up in Nith. And yeah, I'm more or less also doing this because I want to see the world and what it has to offer, and see if I can help people.
Simple enough. CEO, that's the and he like makes a gesture with his right hand like above his head, like sort of pointing out horns. And he says, "That's the mage, right?"
Yes, she is.
Huh.
She will wave from the corner of the kitchen where she's just sitting by the fire, obviously still enamored in her work, but she will just like wave her hand friendly.
Oh, like an over the shoulder, like not even looking at him, sort of thing.
Yeah, like she would probably be facing you guys using the light behind her to kind of give some more visual to her book so she can see what the responses are. But yeah, she'll just wave friendly, but she's very obviously busy at the moment, but she heard her name in vague passing, so she'll just wave and keep about her business.
I'll put a biscuit on a plate and bring it to her.
Oh.
She'll pat her asses on the head and munch on the biscuit and tell him it's easily the best thing she's ever had, and it probably is.
I'm embarrassed. You're embarrassing me.
That's my job.
Runs away from social interactions again.
Like in a very anime style, like hands over the face, but like blushing through the hands.
Oh God.
Exactly that. It'd be like one of those, like where they're like, "Stop it," but they don't really mean stop it, but they kind of mean stop it.
Shakulu, like he looks at Sayo as she waves, and he sort of waves back, but he doesn't expect her to notice. And so many people are referencing her. I wonder, is she your leader? Do you even have a leader? I already mentioned the lack of organization. Not that that's. He sort of like winces a little bit. Not that that's a bad thing, but in most cases it is.
Oh, it's fine. You'll get used to it in time. And you see, Umbra has a mage hand kind of floating the buttery biscuit in front of him while he goes through his spell book, so he doesn't get his hands buttery. And I believe the phrase before you were looking for was tiefling.
Thank you. It's.
Did I introduce myself to you? I'm sorry. Umbra?
No, sir. And he sort of like both hands behind his back and sort of like props himself up, almost standing at attention. Like he's smiling, so he's obviously making a show of it. Like, oh, a formal greeting time.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
don't believe we've all had a proper introduction with each other, as we had other matters to take care of.
yes, and you see Umbra is standing there. He's like 5'6", a young man with a dusty gray hooded cloak of the shaggy matted gray wool that extends over his shoulders and is fastened over his chest, and there's two ragged coattails that kind of drift behind him. And he has this big billowing hood that's pulled back off of his head, and he has these kind of dreary sets of robes that kind of lead down to a dark pair of boots to match. And he kind of looks up from his book, and you see a thin, grayish, scruffy face with a large pair of these like sunset red goggles, which he has atop a mop of gray hair, and you see circles under his eyes, which are like a weird orange. And he's like sits up a bit straighter, and you see inside the mantle he's wearing is an intricate pattern of muted grays, beiges, sage greens, and oranges, and in the corners are two large bullseye patterns like the false eye spots of a moth.
Hmm.
And yes, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for all your work back there. You were great help.
I'm just a soldier. My job is to hold the line. Thankfully, your mages did their job.
Yes, I'd say most of them.
Well, you're capable of holding yourself quite well. Love to have a sparring session with you sometime.
That was directed at Shakulu, correct?
Yes.
He sort of cocks of like his eyes light up, and he sort of cocks a grin and says, that would be very enjoyable. Thank you."
Maybe when we don't have our plates so full, we can look into it.
Rastus, where are you right now?
I went outside. I was walking or doing laps around the house, and every time I came back on the door, I heard something. That's when I would come in. But I was also kind of when I came over here looking at the bones, but I wasn't really like hardcore stopping at it.
All right. Well, Rastus, you'll notice this first. Unless anyone else wants to do anything before then, the child's going to come back.
I would like to do one
Yep.
more thing.
Sure.
I want to head over to Umbra
Yep.
and hey, sorry to bother you. I just when we were at that area with the mages and they were doing their research and such, I took a walk around, and behind the structure I pull out my water skin. I found a fountain, and there was this black murky water that was in it, and the fountain had a bunch of demons that I saw when I was in the abyss. A bunch of demons sort of engraved in the stone there. And I was just wondering, maybe you could take a look at it, see if anything's amok.
Yeah. Go
'Cause
ahead. Go ahead and make an Arcana check, Kino. I mean, it's Keto. Go ahead and make an Arcana check, Umbra, if you do really investigate this.
Yep, I will, and that's a 27.
Are you,
Right.
are you investigating the pit?
The water he gave me.
Yeah, the water. Yep. All right. So as you start looking at it, there's a couple things that you notice right off the bat. First and foremost, this is not natural water. It's magic of some kind. But then when you start to basically like slosh it around and like look at the viscosity of the water and try to figure out where this could possibly be from, you notice that it separates in a way that even though it's jet black water, it separates in a way that slightly, just faintly, glows red. And the only liquid that you've ever heard of that from in your books of Greyhawk talk about water from a very specific place within the abyss And that place, even though it wasn't well documented in the book, is like a place of great pain and sorrow and anguish. And so right off the bat, this looks like it's water directly from the abyss and somehow maybe tied to demonic entities. Ironic because you're also in a town being invaded by demons. But the other thing that you also remember is that the reason why you remember that water so vividly is because that's where a magic item that you now just remember exists. And it's this magic item called a stone speaker crystal. And it's this pretty like amazing thing. You know that it has an undiscovered, like basically secret activation when it gets into this library that you can't remember the name of it, but it also like makes you much more intelligent. It also does things like, for instance, allow you to speak to the dead. You remember it allows you to speak with animals and plants. It's a pretty awesome item that you remember, but you're just now remembering it. That's how you place these two together. So
Well, I say all that, and um, maybe don't let anyone in this town find this on you. It could be very damning.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Is it dangerous? Is it?
I would
that's
imagine
one
it's
thing
not
that
safe
you're
to
not
drink.
exactly sure. Yeah, you don't know exactly sure, but you wouldn't want to get it on your skin, and you certainly wouldn't want to consume it. But you just don't know. Now, because this water is probably some kind of basically physical manifestation of pain and sorrow and anguish and agony, you don't actually know what would happen if you touched it or went through it. But it is dangerous and it's probably poisonous, but you don't know that for sure. But it's also incredibly rare and only in the abyss. So how this exists, you're just not sure. This should never be here.
Well, this could be a problem. Yes.
You also were able to put together that this was the same place that these mages were in. Obviously, they were doing more there than you realized at the time.
Sia, who said that they cut a deal with the Arcane Brotherhood in the past? They had a job with them, a contract. Erastus Sia.
Huh? What? Sia will like jolt upright, hearing her name again. Book still open, pen still in hand, and she'll like very quickly scribble something else down. Oh, I'm sorry, Umbra. What were you saying?
Does the Arcane Brotherhood do they deal with the Abyss, calling things forth from the Abyss? Because they have one from a very specific place. I could point it out on the map if I had a map of the Abyss, which I don't.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, they would probably research it, but I couldn't tell you if they brought it forth into the world, brought this upon people. That I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they do research it. After those folks we saw outside of the last town, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, they're doing more than researching it, I'm afraid. And I kind of like waft a little bit. Does it have a smell?
Oh, if you smell it, it actually does have a very metallic smell of blood, but it also has a that like almost like that. It also has a smell of rotting bacteria, rotting like if you ever smelled really intense like rotting fish without the fish smell, it's very hard to describe, but it's basically like
Yeah.
almost like a pungent, like just bacteria laden like sickness smell. It smells bad. You noticed this too, by the way, when you were wafting it through, you noticed that it smelled bad, but you were so ingrained in getting it that you just shrugged it off, Max.
Max, smell this.
Yeah,
It reminds me of home in the worst way possible.
Wait,
I give it a smell.
Umbra. Umbra, do you mean
What's
that they're bringing this here?
Yes, this was here. They're doing a lot more than reading books and casting spells. They're calling things forth from the abyss. So
How do you
maybe
know
we should
that?
take a look at that. Because I know this water is from the abyss. And I'll repeat everything I just told Max.
Yep.
Could you repeat
This
that
could
for
be
me? Because
very.
I was actually messaging other people from the book.
It's from a very specific place in the abyss. And this is water from the abyss. This is,
Yep.
long story short.
Yeah, the only other thing, I don't know if you tell her, but the only other thing is there's a magic item that's in this area that you remembered.
Yeah, I'll tell her that it's in the same area in the abyss. Do I know if the stone is it underwater or is it like?
No. It's just so in the book it says that the Stone Speaker Shard, there were 3 that were made, 2 completely lost, 1 that was basically put on an island around this water as basically like a taunt for someone to get at it, and it's protected. It's guarded by something. No one ever gets it. It's just sitting there waiting for people to take it. But it's this awesome item that just literally it makes you more intelligent. Although in meta games it actually only gives you advantage on intelligence checks. It doesn't actually raise your intelligence score, but it does make you smarter. It also has all these other uses, but most importantly, if you can find that they're in the abyss, and in the abyss on the sides right where the underdark is that meets the abyss, where the veil is very weak, there's a library. You take this thing, you put it in the library, and all kinds of awesome things happen, but the book didn't know. It's this guy's musings that go into it, and so that's why you were interested in it.
You don't suppose the Brotherhood could be after such an item?
It would make sense. It's an incredibly powerful magical artifact.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they would be interested in collecting that, but I just don't understand why they would bring it forth into the world only for it to sit here. I haven't seen any presence of the Brotherhood here. So I guess they'd be waiting for someone else to go get it for them, or I just don't see why they would bring it forth to let it sit, if that makes sense.
It's possible they're establishing a gateway. If they have access to somewhere where the water would flow into this world, there's a possibility that there's going to be a space big enough for someone to pass through. Or many people to.
That sounds all too familiar of their kind. And Sia will take a moment. She'll put her thumb in her book to kind of hold its place until she can get back to it. But she'll look to Shakulu and Max, and she'll explain that, to put it more briefly, Sia will explain that the party was enveloped into this whole eclectic mess of an adventure by the Arcane Brotherhood, asking them to do just that. The Brotherhood asked us to go dungeon diving for them because they needed information about the dungeon. It needed to be stopped. We were special. We were chosen. Yada yada. They said stuff to make us feel good about it. We go in, we find mystic artifacts. When we recently met them, which Umbra and Max would have been there, and Pan would have been there for that. And she'll kind of link it back to, she wouldn't be surprised if they opened this portal to then get some unknowing adventurers to go in and do their dirty work yet again. And she will give her 2 cents that she's not a fan of this, considering they've lost several allies in the process. Even though they've gained other fantastic friends, many people have died in an effort to do their bidding without them getting their hands dirty.
No, life should be
Makes
traded.
sense.
Does Shakulu know anything about the Arcane Brotherhood? Like he works almost directly for the Lord's Alliance, so he knows plenty about that. But I personally don't know it.
No, go ahead and do a history check.
History. Let's see.
Yeah, because they're famous enough, and if you work with the Lord's Alliance, obviously they deal with the Lord's Alliance in certain cities.
Ooh, not proficient, and
That's
just got a
fine.
9.
No worries. So what you do know is that they are an aristocrat mage group that cannot be trusted. They believe
Ugh.
in power, and they believe in power, and they believe in intelligence, and those are the supreme tenets of their entire mageocracy, essentially. So Yeah, the Lord's Alliance does not trust the Arcane Brotherhood. They are tolerated, especially in certain major cities, because they do provide benefit and they do have really powerful, great mages. And for the most part, they have been aligned for the Order of Good. They have also helped, for instance, protect Luskin in the past, but no, they can't be trusted. They're not super trustworthy.
Hmm. Taking this in, Shakulu, he seems somewhat stoic, like he's not really reacting at all, but he rubs his chin a bit and says, I could make some contact to some handlers I have, try to get them to either investigate or at the very least put some political pressure on these. He like waves a hand and he seems kind of like with his teeth little, he seems kind of angry. Oligarchs. But unless I receive direct orders, I can't act. So the caution that you're prescribing, and he gestures to Umbra, that's really the best we have.
What army do you serve exactly, Shakulu?
He he does the like kind of jokingly snaps to attention and salutes you thing, and he says, Lord's Alliance Special Company, 3rd Battalion, and then he like hesitates. Well, former 3rd Battalion, they're all dead. Huh? Infantryman Shakulu.
Yes.
For everyone that doesn't know, by the way, this is all common knowledge. Lord Alliance is basically a group of cities that have all gotten together to protect themselves and to also further the powers of good, essentially. What they do is that they for instance, Neverwinter, Waterdeep, bunch of the major like capital cities, even the cities in Cormyr, all got together after the orc invasions and decided enough was enough. We're not going to be islands anymore. We're basically going to work together and make sure that society never gets basically into a situation where it could collapse ever again. So they basically pull the resources together. There is no one king. It is a democracy based on the highest of each of the cities, and they do come together in like a basically like a Lord's Alliance meet. Kind of like the open lords and closed lords of Waterdeep, although there's no secrecy. And all the major cities get together once a year and they discuss like what's best for everyone, but they are a lawful good organization that goes through this. By the way, this is the very first pieces of the campaign where everyone's going to start realizing, especially if you play multiple games, all these factions are brutally important, like really, really important on how the world actually works. Zentarum, the Lord's Alliance, the Arcane Brotherhood, many, many factions you don't know about yet, that they all like work together to make Faerun actually like exist. So anyway.
Yeah.
Could it be considered to like the Knights of the Round Table and such?
Kind of, except for the
democracy that
fact,
they have?
yes, except for the fact that these are all rulers of major cities. It is
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, yes, exactly. Like they all come together as royalty in their own cities, but when they're around each other, they're literally just everyone has the same voice, and it's a cooperative. Let's all work together, and it's actually worked for the past almost 1,000 years. It's worked this way. It's never actually been an issue. So
Okay. Cool. Max will take the water skin and close it up, and then secure it to. He'll pop it into his bag. I'll hold on to it for now. It could provide useful evidence, possibly.
Yes. Maybe
but
mark that
yeah.
one so you don't mix it up with another.
Yeah. All right. I'll take one of the wraps around my my arms and wrap it around that water skin.
okay. Yep. Cool. All right. So Erastus, since you've been outside the longest and for like an hour now, you see the child come out first. You see this like ethereal child that looks like he's got like greenish blue skin. His hair is literally defying gravity. He's got a completely white outfit on, but it does, yeah, same exact person. But it does, his outfit looks like it's got mother of pearl going all the way through it, but it's cloth. And he starts walking up to the door.
What will
Do you like
Erastus
do anything, Erastus, or yeah,
Uh,
or do you ignore him? You can ignore him.
I'm just gonna kind of hang out and watch.
Yeah, he knocks on the door. He knocks. So you guys hear a knock on the door from the inside.
I'll go answer the door.
All right.
Did I see him walk into town?
No, you did not. No, nope, nope. The only person that would have noticed him is Erastus for whatever reason. Yeah. He does get past you, Ezekiel.
Okay.
Right. All right. So you go through and you answer the door.
Answer the
All right.
door.
Yeah. So the door opens and he has a huge smile on his face and he extends his hands and in his hands are two very large tickets. The tickets look like it's a golden sheet of paper that's got some kind of weird prismatic sheen to it. The tickets themselves, though, also have this like really faint smell, that smell of like almost candy. And he says nothing, but he smiles at you, like he gives you a knowing smile, as if you guys have a deal.
If I take these tickets, I'm not going to be whisked away and teleported somewhere.
Is that did you ask him that?
Yeah.
He says,
I asked
"Oh,
him that.
oh, no." He says, "No. You have to go to it. You have to go to the fair."
Okay.
He says, "By the way, would you like a flyer?"
I would like one.
Sure. A flyer could be handy.
Yeah, he will go into his into his map and give you one. Give me 1 second, too, guys. Sorry, something just came up. It's kind of a slight emergency. Hold on 1 second.
Sure, no problem.
No.
We're gonna go into the abyss, aren't we, Squidward?
No, we are
Hell
not.
yeah. Hell yeah.
I could be our translator.
Do I
I
know
speak
Abyssal?
Abyssal as well.
I have comprehend languages once a day.
So half
Oh,
the
you
party
know
speaks
Abyssal?
Abyssal.
I think comprehend languages is only on things you read.
Yeah, but it would still be semi-helpful.
I mean, in like 7 levels of monk, I'll be able to understand every language.
Oh shit.
And be understood by all living things.
Just in time
Yep.
for it not to matter.
Yeah.
Yep.
'Cause- yeah, I know fly now.
Nice.
Ooh, giant
Hell yeah,
flying
can't
portal.
go wrong with fly.
If you cast fly on me, I'll technically have a flying speed of 135 feet because I
Alright,
can
Superman.
double dash. Yeah.
Basically just Superman at that point. Crazy bastard.
Hell yeah, dude.
I want to see Erastus freaking like grow himself, fly like 200 feet above something, and then just meteor strike it.
Fortunately,
They're
my
both concentration spells. So I can't
Meteor
do it.
strike.
Oh, see, that's the thing. You just fly 200 feet above something and then cast enlarge on yourself.
Yeah,
And as you're falling down.
That's a 20d6 of falling damage, though.
Hells
You'll
yeah,
be
dude.
fine.
You got if you go high enough, you got plenty of time to feather fall yourself by the time you hit ground or some shit.
That
Take
defeats the
stuff.
purpose
Take
of the hard impact.
Take
can't have it both ways.
take one level of barbarian so you get
Bring something up
resistance
there
to
with you.
bludgeoning damage.
There you go.
No, Erasmus is not a barbarian. If I took anything as a
Shit.
support-
Unfortunately, my coworker fucking called out, and I got to cover for him tonight, and they just called me in,
Oh,
which
gross.
fucking
Ah.
sucks. So unfortunately,
Alright.
guys, I'm not
I'm
gonna be
back,
able
guys.
to finish it off with you guys
No,
for
no.
tonight. I'm sorry.
Alright. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Alright.
I'll just-
Sorry, I'm back, guys, too. I'm back.
It's all right.
I'll just
Alright.
hang out in the
Bye.
back, and if you guys need me to cast anything, just let me know, and I'll do that
Yeah, we can at you if anything important
cool.
comes up for Ezekiel.
for sure. Appreciate it, guys. You guys have a good night.
Okay. All right. You too. Ciao.
Alright. Okay. So he does actually hand you the flyer. It's actually the map that you have seen previously, but let me grab
Alright.
it for you. Yeah, it is the witch Light fair map. Here, I'll put it right here. Yep, here we go. I think that's the. Well, we'll find out. I think that's the one that's shareable here. Let's see. Okay, it's in Discord chat too.
Yeah.
So what is it called? Witchlight Fair Map?
Yep, it's
Okay.
the one that I hopefully just posted that doesn't have all the other stuff on it. Yep, this is the right one. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, so he'll hand you that as well. He says, so the way it works is that you can take this, have it in your hands, and it's going to point you where the fair is in Cormyr.
Okay.
Oh, it's in Cormyr. That's funny.
Now, did you are you downstairs now, Sia?
Oh yeah, she was sitting by the fire where I imagine Erasmus had to have
Perfect.
been cooking breakfast.
Okay. Yep.
I did finish that a long time ago. I've been outside tending the fire. We're not
That's
tending the
okay.
fire,
You can
looking at the
you
fire.
can still be downstairs. Yeah, you can still be downstairs. So
Yeah.
yeah, he'll
I
yes.
don't
and he'll go
want to
through
be
it.
downstairs with this creepy ass toddler.
No, I mean CO. CO can be
Yeah.
downstairs. Yeah.
So I've been imagining she's been sitting by that breakfast fire for a while and has been mainly focused on her own stuff, but I imagine she hears the child who she's spoken to, so she'll take a few moments and just get out of her book and will like go towards the rest of the party and just kind of watch and observe the kid.
Yep.
What did you
Are
say your name
these
was?
are these tickets one a person or is it like a group ticket?
He said I don't actually know why you were only given 2 tickets, but when you go to the ticket booth, they'll sort all that out.
Okay.
Chris, not to throw you off track. While I'm not actually paying attention to it, do I notice anything about this weird fire? It's starting to
No,
concern me.
Yeah, do an Arcana check on the fire. It's there's something unnatural about it. Do an Arcana check real quick while that's going on. It's fine. So it
15.
definitely has some kind of a natural burning. The edges of the flames are purple and black, which is also weird, not normal. The fire itself doesn't ever go out, seemingly. It's been on the entire night. It's always been a low burn, but for the most part, it's not like it's not doing anything other than lowly burning all the blones that are there. But it is some kind of magical fire, yeah. And so what he does is he gives you he says okay, and he says, so are you going to the fair? And he looks at you and CO.
Fuck
I
no, kid. I'm
not
there.
at the moment. But we might. We do have other matters to attend to right now, but if we have some spare time, we may come along.
He said,
Right.
okay, well, in that case, I have this. And he pulls out something from behind him. However, he's very, very thin. So thin and narrow, as a matter of fact, that he pulls out this basket from behind him that was impossible for him to hide. The basket is wider than he is and much girthier than he could possibly like put behind his body. Anyway, it is a white, like wicker made basket, expertly made, as a matter of fact, relatively large. It has a blanket over it, smells really, really good. And on the top, it has flowers the likes you've never seen. The flowers themselves are translucent and woven into the tops of the basket. The translucent flowers are purple, pink, blue, and shades of red and orange. And they all kind of have the same kind of like visage when it comes to their outside. They all kind of look like roses that spread out. So they're like very flat roses. So they all look the same, but they're all those different colors. And those are interwoven into the basket handle. And he says, this is courtesy of Mr. Light. Thank you so much for accepting. And we will see you hopefully at some point.
Oh, Well, thank you. This is more than gracious. And Seal will go and just put one hand out to take the basket from him.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
and as she does so, she'll look at the kid, kind of just now realizing like he is on the smaller side.
Yep.
Um, well, we did intend to tell you to come back in the morning. You're more than welcome to have breakfast with us.
He said, I'm not allowed, but no, I'm not allowed.
Well, can you take something for the road?
He said, yeah.
Would you like something for the road?
He said, yeah.
Okay, then come sit inside with the rest of us, keep our friends company, and I'll put something together for you to take with you.
He said,
And
okay,
she'll
but it
step
has
to the
it
side
has
and
to be
just hold him.
really, really quick because I need to actually go. But he said if you can do it really, really quick, I'm allowed to take something.
I thought time works differently in the Feywild. Then can't you spend however long you want out here and it works differently in there?
He says, what?
Sia will usher the kid in and will shut the door behind
Yep.
them.
Yep. Okay.
And she'll go to making him what Erastus had made for breakfast. She'll put like 2 biscuits and fish together as quickly as possible, but she'll
Okay.
exit the conversation at that point.
Yeah. He says, I don't know how the time works, but we're not supposed to talk about the time.
Well, you started talking about the time.
He said, no. What?
You
You're
said
trying to
you didn't have
confuse
it.
me?
What's your name?
He says, I'm the kid who gives you the tickets.
No, I know that much. You already know mine.
He's-
Mine's Umbra. You know
He said,
mine.
Umbra. He said, Umbra. He said, Umbra.
Yes.
What's your last name, Umbra? If you give me your last name, I'll give you my first name.
Nope. No deal. As usual.
He said, okay. He said, give me your middle name and I'll give you my first name too.
I don't have a middle name, so there you go.
Okay, just the full name.
Nope.
He said, that's a smart. He said, that's a
I'll-
super smart move.
I'll go to the kid and I'll say, would you like to know what the people used to call me when I fought in gladiator matches?
Yes.
If I tell you that, would you tell us your first name?
Well, I will tell anyone my first name if they give me their first and their last name. But if you give me a fake name, then I will do my magic stuff. But you have to give me your first and your last name. He looks at Sione, he says, really good magic stuff. He's whispering that he has really good magic stuff.
You already made deals with them. I wouldn't be talking to them. You've already got your hooks in them.
Seal will bring the biscuits and the fish, and she would have wrapped them. If there was just like a cleaner spare cloth or something, just to kind of keep them together, keep them warm. And she'll crouch down as the kid's whispering to her, and she'll just hand it to him in like this neat little bundle, and she'll whisper back, "What kind of good magic stuff? Besides
And
what you've shown us."
he said, I know Fey magic, and I can show it to you, but you have to have someone give me their first and their last name, and then it will be so funny.
Well, you have to understand, we've seen a lot of things in the world, and we're not too keen on, giving out our names and things like that. We've been on the receiving end of, well, not so good things because of that.
He said, okay. He said, well, thank you so much for these great biscuits, because I can smell them, and they're definitely really good biscuits, but and he's looking at them, going through it. He said, what is this thing inside of them? And he's pointing to the fish.
Oh, well, that's fish. You'd have to ask our turtle friend Erastus. He caught and cooked it all himself, but it's fish. I imagine you've had fish before, right?
He said, just not like this kind, but he said, thank you so much. And he said, I got to go back now.
Well, can we ask for you when we make our way towards Cormyr and the fair?
I might actually be working at the fair, but if not, I might be giving people tickets, but I'll try.
Okay, well, you know what we look like, and I imagine we'll recognize you. So don't let us keep you. Don't get in trouble. And she'll go to
A-
the door and
and it-
open it for him to leave when
Yep.
he's ready.
Yeah, he goes out. Erasmus, make a perception check for me as he leaves, since you are outside.
Could I just use my passive 19?
You can if you want, but if you're using your passive 19 while doing other things, you may not see this.
Alright, well then I'll try to do it better, but I doubt I will. Yeah, that I'm gonna make that a 16.
Okay. All right. Well, it's yeah, your passive beats it. So what you do notice, Erasmus, as he's leaving, is that there is a flash of blue purplish light as he goes through, and you imagine that's him using something to leave. But other than that, he's gone in an instant as he rounds out through here. As he rounds the corner here, that's where you see the light. So he's gone.
Yikes. So you kinda like Star Trek beam me up, Scotty kind of thing.
Something. Something. Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
What's a Star Trek?
It's a very enjoyable
Put
play. I
your
don't.
little monk brain about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to stress myself too much. I only have 8 intelligence.
Ouch.
I am 2.5 times as smart as you. But I will come back up and say, that spooky fucking toddler disappeared in purple.
Yeah, we know.
I didn't want to talk to him.
That's fine.
By the way, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go talk to the general. Bye bye.
Would you like me to come with you?
No, stay here.
Well, meet us back here then. We need to start planning what we're going to do from here.
Okay.
Shakulu, when he hears that Erasmus is going to talk to the general, he gets up from his seat and, ooh, I should do that too. Wait for me.
Wait, we need you here for a second. We have battle plans to discuss.
Well, it actually might be best if Shakulu goes. He does, I imagine, know the ranking officers here, but Shakulu, I do have a question for you before you and Erasmus go.
I'm already gone, by the way. My menu is where my character is.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So we'll very quickly, grab your forearm. Please go catch up with him, but if you can, my brother came through town. We're looking for him. We think we know where he's going, but anything you know about a red Metastopheles tiefling, a male, about 70 or so years old, anything would help. But Erasmus is priority now.
Shakulu is kind of confused about like she's acting almost like we're gonna lose Erasmus if like shit goes down, if he does something wrong with the general. But he nods and starts making his way over.
She knows Erasmus is not socially equipped to handle certain things.
Yeah. So Erasmus gets there before me.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, that's
I don't
fine.
know where I'm looking. I don't know. I'm just kind of walking around.
Yeah, just do an investigation check, because this guy's.
Oh, I'm using my
guy's
passive,
all over.
man. I got a 28 passive.
Yeah, that's fine. You can find him. It's fine. So you'll be able to find him pretty quickly, and he's basically over here looking at the stockpiles. But you can find him, Erasmus, if you want to talk to him.
Okay, I'll just go to him. Hey, what's the word, baby bird?
That's why
He
she's
looks
Hulu.
Yeah, he looks back at you and he says, "Excuse me?"
Do you not say that here?
He said, "What did your group find out?"
We found a toddler.
He said, "What? You
And
found a
Biscuit.
toddler?" I
And
thought
Biscuit.
the men and women actually either died or escaped. Why would there be a child still in town?
He was in town. He turned into purple.
Yeah, he starts walking over. You said, "Show me."
Oh, he's not there anymore. He turned into purple.
He like looks over. You'll be able to see him at this point, Shakula, because you see Erasmus toy.
Okay.
He looks over at where
He turned into purple. Stop doing.
Yep. Yeah, he'll see you come up too, and he'll say, "Show me where this child is."
Uh,
I told him he turned into purple. He doesn't listen to me. He does not listen.
uh, like through his frantic gesturing, Shakulu just like shoots Erastus like a "What are you talking about?" glance, and he begins like leading the general towards where the group is. Just sort of like
Yeah, sure.
there was a child with some sort of correspondence for these people that helped us, but it was completely unrelated to the demonic incursion.
With a big word, correspondence.
Well, he said, listen, I'm readying the men. Give or take an hour or two, we're going to raid that house over there. I thought you guys would do this last night. It's fine that you didn't, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. We're probably going to go in shortly.
Which house? This big one right here?
The mayor's house.
Yeah,
Ooh.
they want to find the mayor.
Mhm.
And he explains this. He says the blessed mayor brought these demons onto us. We saw him run into this house. We know he's held up here.
Maybe
we are a bit afraid. We are a bit afraid that if we raid it, that something terrible will happen. But I see no other choice. I mean, we have nothing left to lose.
Well,
Mhm.
your lives is something.
He said, "Oh, trust me, we thought about just burning it down, and we might."
Well, how about you let the people that were smacking the demons around like there was something easy to smack around do it, and you just sit out here and
Yeah, he looks at you and he says,
soldier
"Listen."
things.
He said, "Listen, I would want nothing more. If you can guarantee me that you will,
Nope.
at some point today, go into this house," he said, "I can afford to wait. But," he said, "if you don't, I do have an army waiting."
You mean army? And I point. I'm like, you mean those 7 teenagers and an old man?
He looks back at you incredulously, and he says, and he looks at you, Shakula, and he says, "So when did you think you would be coming into the house?"
Rude.
Within the hour. Give
He
us
said,
with. Oh.
"Perfect." He says, "Perfect. That is wonderful. We're going to sit here. I'm going to go rally the men. We're going to get refitted. I also need to go see the ones that have injured, ones that are probably not going to make it by tonight. I need to do my rounds." But he said, "Surely," he said, once you're ready, I'll see, and hopefully this will be the end of this." And he starts to walk away.
While
Shakulu.
this
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead.
while this convo is going on, Max will just head over to the house and he's thinking to himself, "I can scout this out in like a minute flat."
Shakulu calls out while the general walks away. Do not send any men inside. We're going inside as a strike team. Have your men set a perimeter and kill anything that tries to leave that isn't us.
Oh, I
wait,
will. I certainly will.
No, belay that. That's a soldier thing.
Yeah, of course.
There's a 7-year-old tiefling that don't kill him, and if you see another turtle, don't kill him. And if you see a small little 8-year-old like looking brown skinned boy, that's probably me in a disguise. Don't kill that.
He said, yes, we remember the tiefling, but again," and he looks at you, Erastus, "how do we know that devil man didn't start this with him?" He said, however, out of respect to you, we will not attack him, but we do need answers."
Okay. But I'm just telling you, if you do kill him, there is a very grouchy tiefling woman in there, and if you piss her off, the devil is gonna be like your best friend in comparison. And he turned half your people into ooze. So
He said, "Well," he said, "right." He said, "Devil people," as he walks back to here.
you know, he was saying demon people earlier. Now he's saying devil people. He's learning. You really just gotta hammer these diatribes into some stupid people's skulls sometimes. They're really an idiot.
You can tell he doesn't actually even know there's a difference. You could have incited that passively to know that he thinks demon and devil are the same thing anyway. But
yeah, I did incite that passively. And
Uh,
I'll walk back in and sit next to Seal. Where's Pan at?
Okay.
Pan would
Alright.
just be eating some of the breakfast still.
Oh,
Would
okay.
Pan eat fish?
Yes. What else am I supposed to eat in the ocean? Kelp?
Do you
I
think
didn't
he's a
know-
fish?
I didn't know
fish.
there's like an Aquaman thing, and it's like, no, sea life is different. I mean-
Tritons are no more fish than I'm a Komodo dragon.
I didn't know if there was a reference thing. I mean, land animals different, sea animals.
We gotta eat something.
That was a microaggression.
Just
Okay.
Shakulu goes in and he sighs a little bit and announces to the group, all right, so apparently, and she looks at Umbra, your brother might be in this house that they're getting ready to destroy? Did I hear that right? And he looks at Erasmus.
I have a brother?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed up
God, I
Umbra
don't
and
have a brother.
I mixed up Umbra and Sayo. My bad. That was an out of character floop.
No, even if it wasn't character, Sia would absolutely. I imagine she would have found a seat if there was one yet, and she would have stood up so fast she knocked it backwards. What?
Yes, and they have requested the Biscuit Boys to go in there and take the fight to them.
Shakuli puts up both hands towards Sio, like in an okay, calm down gesture, and he goes, There's been word of sightings of your brother, and he like grits his teeth. Pink skins don't. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was saying I checked. He is correct so far.
Shakulu grits his teeth and says, pink skins don't like outside races like ours, and he gestures to CON himself. So they are automatically assuming he has something to do with a demonic incursion. They're not going to kill him. We established that much, but they are going to question him. And we have to investigate this house soon, like within the hour, if we're going to keep control of this situation. Otherwise, I might just burn it down and kill anyone inside.
Max will chime in and say, I could scout out that house in about a minute, possibly 2 minutes flat.
My thoughts
and
exactly.
And if there's demons in there,
Well,
you can handle yourself, but I feel like we should stick
I can handle
together.
myself, and I can get away from them if needed. Trust me.
Before we get going too much, does anyone want to? Whoever does spells, do you want to do spells better? I can make
Yes,
that happen.
please. I would love to spells better.
Likewise, but I just don't understand.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give this to Pan because the ultimate power should go to someone who does not want to use it.
Also eating. I think she would have piped up, but she has a biscuit in her mouth.
Rude, first off.
It's a +1 arcane focus.
Ooh.
Very nice.
No, but seriously, who wants it? No, all jokes aside, we can give it
Let
to...
the monk have it.
Oh, God.
We can give it to Sio, the Little Mermaid, or Severus Snape.
And me.
That's Severus Snape. I don't have many spells that
It also increases your spell save DC by 1.
I feel like Pan or Umbra would have more spells that have saves, because most of what I do are like they damage. They don't really have
attack rolls.
Yeah.
Literally everything you have is an attack roll.
No, I have a few that aren't, but I mean I don't pull them out, but Pan coming out with silence and Umbra with whatever else he has in his arsenal, I think would benefit more than Sia.
Kaylee, not fighting for one way or another, but every single one of your spells is a save or an attack roll. I think you have like one, like Disguise Self is like a social spell.
Yep.
Besides the point, Umbra or Pan should have it.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna put this little thingy here, and I'll just like set the arcane focus down, and whoever wants it can have it. But that's it for the day for you.
Okay.
Because,
See
just
ya.
Who
gonna-
does anyone take the arcane focus?
If Umber doesn't want it, Pan will just shrug and pick it up. I would think that Umber would want it more as being like more of a dedicated spellcaster, but if not, then Pan will take it.
yeah, guys, there's only so much I can do here. I'm eating mediocrity and shitting magic items for you right here.
Nice.
I mean, I'll take it. I was told I couldn't have it, so.
It was a joke, you sullen. Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
I'm going back to Tovog and I'm inventing humor.
please do. Before we get too off track, Max, how do you feel after you spent some time with that spirit? Do you feel any differently?
Oh, yeah,
Did you
feel...
actually spend? Wait, sorry. Did you spend time with that spear?
8 hours.
No,
Oh,
I didn't
I thought he
attune to the
didn't.
sphere.
I thought he did not.
No.
Yeah, I thought he didn't.
No.
Yeah.
I
That was
thought
the
you
whole-
said I thought you said spirit, and I was like, oh, the book. Yeah, I feel much better.
No, you're supposed
Yeah.
to spend time with the spirit. That was the whole purpose of me giving it to you, Punchy.
Well,
I spent those 8 hours in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. No, it's totally fine. Don't worry, it's totally fine. So no, he has not touched it or tried to figure it out yet.
Well, we're gonna hour, so I mean, you could just spend the hour with it, and that should work. And if it doesn't, well then, I
Yep.
say we give it to.
You're
the
really
fighter.
trying to curse me out here.
No, I say
Well,
we
no,
give it to the fighter because A, he can't punch ghosts now like you can, and B, we just met him, so if there's some horrible calamity upon it, I won't feel that bad about it.
Let it
It's
be known that
exceptionally
Erasmus.
sharp. Yeah, I think you were gone, particularly when this spear dropped, but this is a spear that's exceptionally sharp. It actually has a haze around the top, like obviously like metallic, like bladed point to it, where that haze, when you look at closer inspection, is actually thousands, maybe millions of tiny little needles with each needle has small barbs that jut out in all directions. It's impossibly made, meaning that it must be some kind of magic item of some kind. And it looks like it's incredibly well done.
Impressive, but his hand like hovers over taking it, and he looks at her. Was all that like, we don't know this guy, so just let him have the item we know nothing about? Was that in character? Oh,
Look, I want to give it
Yeah.
to you because I think you're the only one here without magical means of damage. And with Max having glowy fists now, I think you would be most suited. I would obviously take steps towards amending any sort of damage that would come from you attuning to this thing. I genuinely do not know. So I think it would
Now,
be a learning experience for everyone.
yeah, now this was a spear that dropped from the demon, the large demon. This was his weapon.
And keep
Yeah.
Corpse Slayer as a backup, by the way. I know I should have asked for that back, but I'm a benevolent fella.
Shakulu, he pulls out Corpse Slayer, like taps it against his head, like sort of like brandishing it, and says, "Thank you, Biscuit Lord. Your contribution is appreciated." And he
Yes.
uh, his head's like hovering over the spear, and he like, all right, and he takes the spear.
I never knew I
Alright,
needed
that's
something
fine.
so much
So-
until I finally received it.
So you take the spear, you put your hands on it. It actually feels pretty like empowering, just from taking it. You're gonna have to spend some time with this thing because you're going to have to figure out how it's going to work. Like at first it looks so brittle, like the haze around it looks so brittle that you're probably just gonna break it the first time it actually like stabs into something. So you need to spend around an hour, like maybe even throwing it, going back and forth, figuring out how this thing works. It's basically your attunement in order
Mhm.
to really understand what this thing is. But it is impossibly sharp. This is the best crafted weapon you've ever seen in your entire life.
Or I just
Nice.
spent 11 minutes ritually casting Identify.
Um,
Why don't we just do that?
We also already cast Identify on it, I'd like to point out.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We did. My bad.
As much
I
as
didn't get dick
Oh, what?
from it.
Well, sorry. If
There was
I
got
I
a
actually,
+1 spear.
I'm sorry. The spear. If you cast Identify on it,
We did
how
the
did I
kill
fuck
in the
that up?
last session. because
Yeah,
Emma gave
I
it to
must.
me.
I must have fucked that up. Let me give you what it actually is through Identify. When you cast Identify on it, this is actually a +2 spear that when you throw it,
Oh,
it's
fuck you,
normal.
Shakulu. That's going
Yeah.
not to you.
When you throw it, its normal and long ranges both increase by 30 feet, and it deals 1 extra damage die on a hit. After you throw it and it hits or misses, it flies back to your hand immediately.
Okay, Shakulu, it is going to you, and you're going to the front line, and you're gonna stay there and fucking like it.
But this is the most impossibly sharp, amazingly well crafted. Like so here's the thing that's really important. The actual wood on this spear almost looks like it's falling apart in archaic. The leather that's surrounding it is actually pristine leather, and it looks like it's completely clean. It doesn't even smell of sweat or any kind of things. And then of course the metallic part of the blade is so expertly made. So the metallic part of the spear actually looks like kind of like almost a curved lightning blade, but then it's got that haze around the entire thing, and that haze, when you look at it, the closer you look into it, it's just impossibly these sharp little like things that go through it. So, but you
I
are gonna have to
cast-
spend an hour figuring this out.
I
Yeah.
cast Mending on the wood. I just want to see if it regrows the wood.
If you do cast Mending on the wood, nothing will happen. It looks like it's not broken, and it's not something that can be like affected through mending. But then you realize it's probably because it's some kind of magic item. The magic itself in the wood is also like the
Okay,
wood is some kind of magic. Yeah.
right now
Huh.
Araxis knows it's a +2 spear. I'll tell everyone that, and I'll say it should go to the fighter because he can use it. But if he doesn't want it, well, I don't know if it's gonna cut his little dainty red boy hands. But if he can use it, he should use it. If he can't use it, you can give it to me, and then I can give him a magic item through one of my infusions,
Right.
and not keep that one for myself because I can use a
And
spear, but not much else.
and you know that when you throw it, it's going to come back to you. And you also know that if it's both its long range and its normal range, you can throw this 30 feet longer than you can throw any other normal weapon. So it is a pretty cool weapon.
Range 50 feet.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, so
This is a very powerful, cool kind of weapon. Yeah.
if you want to touch it, but it might cut you. It didn't cut me, but I have thick ass gloves.
I saw that, and he like sticks his pinky in his ear and like digs around as if like, yeah, that shit was loud.
Yeah. Of game, this is the sharpest, most powerful. This is the only +2 magic weapon we've ever seen. So, as a heads up.
Jesus.
Want it? Do you want it? Huh?
Shakulu while holding the spear, he goes, I don't know. And he reaches around in the kitchen that they're in and just picks up like a random item, like a bowl or something. And he holds the bowl up above the spearhead and just lets go and lets it drop and hit the spearhead.
Yeah, so if you do that, what's going to end up happening is even before it reaches the spear, all those small like barbs or whatever, it literally starts to crush and just shred the bowl, and then of course hits the spearhead, goes all the way through, and then you guys can see every single time it goes around this haze, it's almost like it just starts to crumble, the thing around it. It's freaking incredible. Like it's amazingly sharp, and those little spines look like they're very brittle and they're just gonna basically break and go down in like spindles, but they don't. They just stay there. So it's
So
very, very, very sharp.
I'm gonna put this thing back where I found it.
Hold on now. I'm willing to keep this. You have my permission to beat the shit out of me if it, I don't know, turns me into a demon or something.
Oh. Well, good.
If that's what, like he held the spear behind himself like and put a hand out like, no, it's mine, but then he like sort of like gets his bearings back and he goes, if that is okay with everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine for me.
The Biscuit Council approves.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you're gonna need to spend an hour though. You do need to spend an hour. So you guys are gonna have to basically spend an hour with him outside unless you just expect not to go inside while you're doing this. Or you
Okay.
can theoretically go inside, but you really need room because you need to throw the sphere, figure out how it comes back. You need to like handle it, get balance to it. So, but it will take you around an hour.
See, the thing is that I told the general like within the hour we're gonna go in and clear this place out. So
For 10
I'm
more
in,
minutes, you stay here and play with your new toy.
yeah, I like. Oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
Maybe Seal or Pan should do it because I don't get cues.
We
Get-
should do what? Talk to the commander again.
Yeah, your nose has been too much in your book.
Right, and you'll see Sio kind of sigh. Since this fight, she has not been looking like her normal self. Like her
Leave me
hair.
alone, Pan. Fuck off.
What?
Pan keeps poking me.
Oh,
Oh,
but her hair will look a little unkept. She looks like even after getting a long needed rest in like a bed hasn't helped, and she'll just look to Shakulu. You told him we'd be in an hour. Did you tell him we would be in and out, or is he just anticipating we go in there within the hour?
he was talking about sending an army, and he like uses air quotes in as soon as he could. So I delayed the beginning of the operation. I don't know how long he expects us to take.
All right. Then what do you know about this house? What do we need to know before we go in? Because I think, and I'm open to suggestions, but I think the best course of action is to have Ezekiel go up to the window where the blood map is. I know we need that to find Van. If he's able to get in through the window, he gets the map, he brings it back to us. From there, we look at entering as a party into the home. Max, I appreciate your willingness to dive headfirst into this, but I don't want to lose anyone else. And that's not me doubting your abilities, it's me tired of seeing everyone just get hurt. So I think we move together. If Ezekiel can't get in through the window, then maybe Max and 2 other people go in, try to navigate to the map. From there, we'll look at digging deeper if we can't find Vand in the standard house, and I'm worried we will have to dig deeper, but that's my take on it. We get Ezekiel to try. In the meantime, we talk to the general, try and buy more time. Work from there.
Max will head over to CEO and place a hand on her shoulder. I agree. We should stick together. But I think something that you should do is take some time and look after yourself. Pretty yourself up, you know? We will find your brother. Trust me.
I cast prestidigitation and fix her hair.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Good thing our ass is in there for this.
Well,
Oh.
you gotta look in your best order if you're gonna see your brother again.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. I think these were the exact clothes I saw him in the last time I saw him. So
Take some
maybe
time, tidy yourself up, get a fresh state of mind. You're clearly looking a bit stressed and worried, and you have every right to be. But if you're going headfirst into danger, it's probably best to have a clear mind so that you can think clearly and think straight.
right. Thanks, Max. I appreciate it. And she'll just throw you a soft smile. She appreciates your willingness to look out for her. But before I do that, is everyone in agreement then? Ezekiel tries to scout out the outside of the building, at least get the map. If he's unsuccessful, Max, maybe 2 other people go in. While Ezekiel's doing that, Shakulu, I think that you, Pan, and anyone else who's willing to go would be the best fit to talk to the general and create a realistic timeline with him. I don't think any of us want to be caught in a burning house.
I look at Umbra. You turned invisible when I first met you, correct? Can you do
I
that to
did.
other people?
I can. Let me double check. He flips through a spellbook. Hold on.
Meanwhile,
Out of
we're at
character,
the
you should be
general.
able to. Yeah, out of character, you should be able to cast teleport on someone else. I don't think it's self.
Well,
No,
I could be wrong.
invisible.
Invisibility, I mean, yeah.
Harasses and Pam
Yes.
to the general.
I would be able to cast on you, but I
Okay.
wouldn't be able to cast on both of us. If that's a thing.
Okay, well, that should be fine. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm the most mobile person in this party that we have. So if you were to make me invisible, I could run through that house, give it a quick once over in about a minute, and then come out. I won't touch anything. I won't grab anything. I'll just make sure the coast is clear, and then we can head in together as a party.
I can also send my familiar in. No harm, no foul.
Yes.
All right. As you guys are discussing that, what do you guys want to tell the general? He's still going through his inventory and talking to people and everything. But what do you want to say?
That's all Pan.
Yeah.
Pan will go up and I'm assuming that Erastus would have told Pan how the last conversation went because I don't think Pan was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will tell her, and then we go up, and I will say, "Hello, this is Pan. Pan, I actually don't know your name."
He said, yes, I see that you're getting ready to go up and, I guess, storm the house.
Yes. We're going to scout out and make sure everything is safe in there. I believe we've already been told that your men should surround the house and make sure nothing escapes while we're checking it out. But we will
That
be
is
going
right.
in there.
Yep. Perfect. You said, and when are you going in?
Any minute now. We're going. When we leave you, we're gonna go meet up with our team to.
An hour.
Hasn't it already been an hour?
No.
He said it's fine. He said it's.
I thought you were good at this.
He said it's fine. He said honestly. He said the only thing I'm concerned with is getting this done today more than anything. So if you can go through and keep your promise, I will keep my promise.
Yes, it will definitely be done by the end of today.
He said, please alert me when you start so I can get my men to surround the house, though.
I thought that was the point of us coming over to talk to him now.
We needed another hour.
Then why wouldn't we come over in another hour?
Because he was expecting us to go in before the hour.
No, didn't you tell him that we'd be going in an hour?
No, within the hour. That's what Shakulu said. And then we needed more than an hour so that he could get with the spear. So we needed like 10 more minutes.
Erastus, your method of giving information is astonishingly bad.
I thought we were on the same page.
We need better communication skills, Erastus. We really do.
Well, I don't speak blub, fish, so I don't know how to...
Aren't you an aquatic creature too?
You understand Aquin.
Yeah, but it's the turtle dialect.
Where were
You got caught in 4K. You got caught in 4K, sir.
It's like Nosotros and Vosotros. All right, we don't I can understand. Okay, just don't talk to me.
Like you don't understand a New England accent, but
I'm
you.
embarrassed. Leave me alone.
So Pan's gonna be a little embarrassed too and say, then we will come and get you as we are preparing to actually go into the house.
All right, so
do
Shikulo,
start to prepare your men.
Yep, and he does. And Shikulo, so you guys spend the hour getting everything prepared. Shikulo, you do start to throw the spear. You actually get a little more careful with it. At first, it's very intimidating because any accidental touch of this spear on your own person is going to cause damage or problems. And you almost nick yourself with it twice, realizing just this is kind of more dangerous than a normal spear. But as you start to get the hang of it, and then sure enough, it starts to fly back. After an hour, there is. Do you speak Infernal?
I do not. I speak
All right.
Abyssal.
All right. So after around an hour, there's some kind of word that you do not understand that actually starts to spur into you. This is actually the command word. It sounds like Foreno, but it's basically the command word to bring the sphere back. You don't actually have to speak it though. All you have to do is think it. You don't have to verbally speak anything. But now that you know that word, it will actually come back to your hands and go through it. One thing that you notice though, as you finally get the hang of this weapon and go through it, you're not going to give up this sphere. Any attacks
Oh,
with any other weapon, there's going to be a disadvantage, and that's only if someone physically pries the spear away from your hands. Other than that, nothing else is the same. I
okay.
mean,
This
nothing
is
else is different.
this is my spear now.
That's right. No one's going to be able to take the spear unless it is by force. Now, if they do take it by force, you will separate from it. But any other weapon you try to attack with, you are so not only depressed that you're missing your spear, but you will haphazardly attack with that weapon, meaning all those rolls will be a disadvantage. Anyway,
And that's
so
why we
Roger
just
Dodger.
anyway.
the new guy.
Now, meta, the spear is cursed. The way that curses work within the campaign at this point, outside of the Tomb of Horrors, is that every single curse is a Van Richter's curse, which means that they are the new curses, which is an advantage and disadvantage. The number one disadvantage is that remove curse is only temporary, even if you use it. It's never going to cure this, and remove curse is only we're going to remove the curse for an hour, so not worth it. And then on top of that, to cure a curse like this, it's an entire quest. The advantage, though, is that if you cure a cursed item now, it actually the curse basically is kind of like shadowing a benefit that you do not have access to yet. So once you actually remove this curse, not only will you have a +2 spear, but it will have something else. But that said, the curse is much, much, much harder to remove than normal, and that's the way all cursed items are going to be from here on out. But
Nice.
the remove curse works for an hour. Greater that there is, I don't know if you've read the measure, the way that it will actually work. I did want to get into this in game, especially when Greta's here, but I'll give you the two of them. There's the third one too, but remove curse will work for an hour. Greater restoration will work for up to 24 hours. There is one more that you'll have to figure out on your own. Gretna will tell you this information later. Greater restoration is so not worth it in this campaign for a full day because of the diamond component. But anyway, until that gets resolved. But the most important thing though is that you will not be able to remove this curse until you find out why the curse was there. But it's a whole quest and it'll come to you. But anyway, it is cursed. You will not find out what the curse does until you activate the curse. So as a heads up, right now nothing though. There's no difference in anything you're doing.
Nice. I am okay with this.
This is the most damaging weapon we've had in the game so far.
All right,
The
and
+2 weapon is the most powerful. So.
Do you have an item for me to get off of D&D Beyond, or do I just get a
I
+2
do. No,
spear? Oh, okay.
No, I do, but I have to give it to you after because I'm taking off all the spoilers. So I will have an item for you after this. So.
All right.
Yep. All right. Anyway, so you do have a +2 sphere. Remember, you get 30 additional feet if you're throwing it, whether it's a normal range or close or long range. And then when the curse activates, you'll see what happens. So if you activate it, that is an if. So
Max will be waiting outside the house.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sia would take Max's advice and she would go back upstairs and realizing she literally is wearing the same clothes she last saw her brother in 50 years ago, will change into the finer clothes that
Oh
she
no.
has.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if she wants to risk it for the biscuit trying to message her brother.
No, we actually
Ooh.
have some right here, in fact.
Yeah, more biscuits.
Yeah.
Bring him some.
And so Max, the plan was you were getting turned invisible and you were going to scout through the house, correct? Is that right?
I think that was the plan if Ezekiel
or Umber, where you're putting your familiar through. Yeah.
I was waiting for the signal if he wanted to be invisible. Let's see. It's up to an hour.
the way I was thinking of doing it was, if Ezekiel couldn't get through the window where the blood map was, then I would be turned invisible, quickly sort of dash through the house, just briefly giving a once over of every room on the way up.
Yep.
And then just scouting out the room for any hostile enemies, not touching anything, and then coming back.
Right, so we'll do the Ezekiel thing first. So Ezekiel hops up into the ledges of the house to go through it, but the leaded glass panes don't open. And then what he does is he tries to get to this ledge here to go through it, and realizes that not only is it locked, but it's like a reinforced locked area with smaller leaded pass gates. Even if he wanted to break in or burglarize the house, it's actually set up as really kind of sturdy and surprisingly like resistant towards breaking in. It's not going to work. He jumps down and tells you guys this.
So are we, for the plan of me, quickly giving the house a once over?
Mm,
I think
we need a
that-
signal if you get caught and need help. Just scream.
Are we going into the house now?
Right.
Are we getting
I-
ready to go into
Max-
the house?
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yes.
Matt.
Yeah, I'm
Kind
ready.
of. Max would go in first, invisible, and then you guys would come in after. I guess after he comes out to tell you what's going on.
Okay, then once Max comes out and tells us what the situation is, then I'm gonna go to the general and say that we're going in.
Yeah.
All right, Max.
So I would suggest that if possible, Kino's familiar go with. Sio's not totally familiar with Find Familiar. If Kino, Jesus, Umbra had his, Jesus Christ. If Umbra had his familiar go with Max, could the familiar also alert us to Max being in danger if something were to happen?
Yes.
I mean, well, yes. The only thing is that if you're using, I mean, it depends. Like, are you using your familiar, Sue?
She would look at using Umbra's and then Kiri as a last resort.
Oh, so Umbra, yeah, you can just use your senses. Umbra, if you wanted to come in with your familiar, you would just look through your senses.
Yes, I would be happy to do that.
Okay. That way, if something happens to Max, then the familiar will at least be able to tell us that much.
Yeah.
And Max, once you're able to get through, see
Curie
everything.
hears this though, and he says, "But you know that I can see all those invisible people, and I don't think Umbra's spirit thing can see those invisible people." He said, "No,
Kiri,
I can do it."
I know you can, Kiri. I have no doubt in my mind you can, but I just remember when we got shunted back into the tomb and we came back and you were very sick.
He said, "Yeah."
I don't want you to get sick or hurt again, so I worry that going with Max you'd get sick or hurt. If you want to go, you can, and we can ask Max, but
He said,
just
"No,
don't
it's
want
okay."
to
He
hurt.
said, "It's okay, mommy. I can stay here."
Okay. Well, we'll do that, and then we'll test the waters and see what we can get you into safely.
Yep. So this is the one thing you're going to notice. First and foremost, the store is locked. So as you go through and go to open it, Max, you find out, oops, it's actually locked. However, if you do go around, and this door here is actually unlocked and open, but you can decide to pick this if you want.
I don't have anything to pick it with.
All right. So if you want, you can come through here. This door is unlocked.
I
Okay.
do you have Piven's these tools? I would be able to maybe.
You would have You would have access to Pirvin's sleeve still. So.
Do you mind?
Sure, be my guest.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Where actually do I click for thieves tools?
It'd be sleight of hand at proficiency, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think in D&D Beyond, if you have the proficiency with them, I think you can just click on them and it'll add it all up.
It's slightly different because I have expertise in specifically thieves tools.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that's the way the check work in D&D Beyond, but I could be wrong.
All right, so it is plus 10 to the roll, so I'm just going to roll a d20.
That's fine. Yeah.
26.
Yeah. So you guys all notice that he walks up and in less than a second, like you go through, you click this thing, it makes sense to you, like the entire locking mechanisms. This is much easier than the locks that you remember trying to mess with in tow bag anyway, and it opens immediately. All right, Max. So as it opens, the one thing that you do smell is there's something decaying in here, for sure. As you walk in quickly, do you guys keep the door open or close it?
Open.
Okay.
Open, yeah.
All right. So a
Just
couple
saying,
things.
my passive perception is 17, and I have a blind
Yep.
sight of 10 feet just in case.
Perfect. Yep. So you walk in, and it looks like there's still food on the table. It's old. The house is not ransacked, but certainly not tidy. You notice over here that somebody was making food and must have left in a hurry, because like some of the plates are like basically like on edge, and there's food like spilled on the ground. The fire is still lit, and there's a stew that's going in here that's days old. It looks like it's rotted. Um, as you go through and get upstairs, let me just fix it here. So you start to go upstairs here,
Yeah.
and oops, it's gonna bug out on us. Hold on. There you go. You notice that this place basically looks down into the larger like courtyard until you get up to the next level, where sure enough that map exists. It's right here. If you go up to the Discord, you'll see what the map looks like. There is a chest that's locked, and there is also a door on the other side. When you go through this door is also locked. That said, the other thing that's notable is there's a journal, and there is a very tiny glass shard next to the journal.
Okay. I'll head up to the third floor real quick.
Sure. As you get up to the third floor, there's a couple different things. You notice there's another locked door, and then there's what look like some boxes. There's also this very, very, very strange plant. You've never seen anything like it, ever. It actually looks like it is a part animal. Looks pretty. It does not look exactly like the miniature. It does look like it does look like a large Venus flytrap. It's a jet black. It has teeth, and it's actually got blood all over it. Looks pretty nasty. You've never seen anything like this thing. And then there's another chest here. But it's already open, and it's basically just got silver plates and silver cups and valuables in it.
Okay.
But there is also a strange humming sound coming from behind this door as well.
Okay. I will head down to the second floor.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Also, because we talked about it before, just kind of flying over your shoulder, staying about 10 feet from you, is going to be a small red-shouldered hawk, which is
Yep.
just kind of...
And with blind sight, there doesn't seem to be any entities in here. Doesn't seem like there's any invisible creatures or anything. Yeah, you don't notice any.
I want to I assume before I left, I would have talked to Umbra whether or not I could communicate with his familiar, and he would understand.
Yeah, Umber would tell you that yes. The answer is
Okay.
yes. You could. Yeah.
I'll take the spare wrappings, some spare wrappings that I have in my bag. I'll take them out, and I'll say to Umbra's familiar, should I take this shard and journal down, or should I wait until we all come in?
Now, your familiar will notice this first, and you will eventually notice this anyway. There are these weird jars of honey, really large jars of honey that is slightly glowing. It looks like honey. It's slightly glowing, and there's 3 of them. But it's strange because it's glowing honey. And you notice that there could be some things inside of the honey, but you're not exactly sure. But anyway, By the way, the bed is in here. The very like makeshift straw bed is also in here. So
Okay. So yeah, I
no
would have.
signs of people though. No signs of any people.
Okay. I would have said to the familiar if I should grab the journal and shard or and map or wait until everyone's in here with me.
The hawk would look at the jars of honey and just kind of cock its head to the side like a dog. And then maybe make a hawk noise since I cannot talk through the familiar.
I'll head over to the honey jars.
Okay. Yeah, it's strange. It's slightly glowing honey, slightly glowing red. Do you want to pick up one of the jars? What do you want to do?
No, I won't pick them up yet, but I'll just
Yep.
I'll stand over them,
Yep.
and sort of get like as close as I can to where the hawk can have a decent look at them, but I won't touch them.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, you can do an Arcana check at disadvantage through your familiar, as always. It's just like doing an Arcana check at perception, like watching something, but it's at
Yeah, totally.
disadvantage.
Guys, should I go in to help? He's been in there a minute.
I can't find my mini, but I'm there with the group. I don't.
Yeah, I
do you-
imagine
that's
we're all
fine.
standing outside
with-
that door.
I'll bring your mini back.
With
That's fine.
disadvantage, it's a 16.
Probably it's only probably been like about 30 or so seconds because I have
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
movement. I can move
Oh,
90
okay.
feet in
Yeah,
one round.
yeah.
without
It's
using
not
any-
been that long.
It's
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog looting a house.
Yeah. Sio would defer to Umbra at that point and just wait for him to tell us if something was wrong and we had to move in. Otherwise, she would suggest Max is more than capable, so we wait.
So
Gotcha.
I will be speaking because I can't hear anyone and I can't see anyone, but I will be kind of like whispering to everyone what I see, the glowing jars. I got a 16 on the Arcana check.
Yeah, they're magic, but you don't know what they are. You know it's magic for sure. You just have no idea what the hell this is. Here's your miniature, by the way.
There's a lot of shit in there. I'd be very careful about sending people in.
Yep. What do you guys want to do?
I'll quickly go over to this table again with the map and stuff. I'll turn to the hawk and nod yes or no if I should grab this stuff. Does your hawk do anything?
Yep. Do you nod yes or no?
Tyler.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take my wrappings.
Yep.
I'll wrap them around. So just remind me, there was a journal, the blood map, and
Yep.
it was like a glass shard or something.
Yeah, a journal, a very tiny sliver of a glass shard that's as long as a pencil, and this bloody map.
Okay. I'll take my wrappings, wrap them around the shard, and I'll extend the wraps on my hands so that I'm
Yep.
not making direct contact with the journal and map, and I'll sort of roll up the map best I can.
Yep. Yeah.
Close the
So this is what ends up happening. As your hand makes contact with the map itself, literally they start to disintegrate and burst into flames. Do me a favor, make a sleight of hand check. But you can also make an acrobatics check if you wish. So if you're better at acrobatics, you can. But yeah,
I'd like to make acrobatics. It's a
Yeah.
+8.
yeah, that's fine. You can make an acrobatics check as well.
That is a 26.
Okay, so in just the nick of time, you get away from this, but the shard, I mean, sorry, not the shard, the wraps that you had, literally, it almost looks like they're burning, but they're not burning. They actually just like disappear into like a flash paper burn, but the burn has a purpley blackish like edge to it. but it's gone in an instant. You barely get away with not touching it between your skin making contact from it. But nope, that's not going to work.
So that was when I touched the map.
The map. Yep,
Okay.
the map. Yeah.
When I touched the journal and the shard, I was fine.
Yeah, you're fine. You can take
Okay.
those.
All right. Well, I'll take those.
Yeah.
And I'll make my way out.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you book it outside. All right. You
Chris,
guys can interact with them now. And by the way, your miniature's back. I gave it to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Chris, did it look like there was a magic around the map, like protecting it, or did it look like
No,
itself?
no, but it looks like the map itself is probably some kind of magic item to you. You're gonna have to go and investigate this thing like directly to figure it out. But of course, remember, Arcana checks require touching it, and you just saw what happened. That said, you know it's magic, but you also know that it's you also know that the magical effect never actually reached him because he like expertly basically took his hands out of the wrap in one solid movement that was to your eyes amazing, but completely like gracefully got out of whatever that was. However, if you can get back and go through and investigate it properly even by looking at it, maybe you'll be able to figure this out, because it could just be that they're going. Maybe it reaches into the abyss. Maybe it's literally disintegrating the wraps. You're not sure yet.
Want me to
So
take a look
I'll-
at that?
So yeah, I'll come out. I'll announce my presence. I assume Umbra will drop the invisibility. once
Yes.
I'm out here.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So I'll essentially sort of explain what I saw, and I'll explain. I got this journal and this glass shard that was near the blood map. I tried to grab the blood map, and you see, but it almost sort of disintegrated my wraps. I managed to get away from it. So I don't recommend touching it. On the third floor, there's this plant-like monster. And there's a weird humming sound coming from a door. I don't know what it was. I didn't look. And the place looks like it's been somewhat ransacked almost. There hasn't been. It doesn't seem like there's been someone in here for some time. As the food, I just point to the food and such. Food's quite old here, so. Anyway, point is, I'm fine. There's no hostiles apart from maybe that plant. I'm not sure yet.
And we don't know what's behind the door.
Yes, there are quite a few locked doors. But I didn't want to.
Should I put my suit on?
I think it might be wise to, just in case.
Which
Would
one?
you mind if I touched the map with my familiar?
I honestly don't know what would happen. My best guess would be that your familiar would get disintegrated like my wraps did. They sort of fizzled away and almost burnt, but not really. I don't recommend touching it, as it could happen to you.
Chris, did it look like a specific spell effect?
This is what you'd have to do. So if you're going to investigate this and you're willing to lose a familiar, that's a good way to do it. Also, if you want to get in and start truly investigating this as, like, for instance, a magical scientist, just do a lot of guess and check work on things you can't touch. Arcana is super hard, so you have to kind of investigate. You have to actually do like some kind of basically experimentation. So yes, familiar is a good way to do it. Just remember there are, I mean, obviously you know how that works. So, but that's one way for sure.
Jakulu asks Max, was it on a table? The map?
The map was strung up against the wall, correct?
Yes, it's up against the wall. It's up against the wall.
No, it's sort of like attached to the wall, almost like sort of hung up.
Maybe.
Did you investigate the second floor?
Yeah, let me and Umbra take a crack at it, and the gang can split up and search for clues. Also,
Well,
Umbra,
I might have some clues. This journal and glass shard was under the blood map. I haven't had a look at it, but it might be useful.
Would
also Umbra,
I'll hand them to I'll hand the journal and the shard to Umbra.
I'm gonna go
They're
get
safe to touch.
I
Okay.
take them both with Mage Hand, and I just crack the spine of the book open.
CO's
I'll
absolutely going to look over Umbra's shoulder.
Apache.
I'll
see
just
what-
I'll say to I'll come over to Pan. Pan, do you want to come and talk to the general with me?
Sure.
So say that we're heading inside now.
Yes.
We're just about to. Okay.
Shakulu will call out as they walk away, like mention the map, make sure no one touches that and dies.
Well,
They're
they
not going
won't
in
go
first.
in. They're just going to be standing outside in case we find anyone in there that tries to run out. They're going to be standing guard outside.
Okay, so Pan, if you want to come over and explain that to the general, he's going to tell you, okay, yeah, we're ready to get ready. So he tells his men, he's like, come on, file up, come on, get ready. And they start to basically go through in formation, and they're going to start to surround the house when you guys are ready to go in.
Perfect.
While they're
Okay.
talking to the general, Shakulu's gonna walk around the building and just, get a look at all the features of the place. What is this cage-looking thing over here?
Yeah,
No-
so you've never seen anything like this. It literally looks almost like this part is reinforced for some reason, but you have no idea why. But that is definitely something odd. May
Metal,
not be a reason.
metal scaffolding. Okay. Uh,
It's reinforcing this side of the building. Yeah.
Chris, what do I see in the journal?
Yeah. So the journal. So everything is written in Abyssal.
I can read
so
Abyssal.
Right. Perfect. That's what I thought. All right. So if you don't have time to read all of it, do an investigation check within it. You can eventually read all if you want to, but yeah, go for it. All right, 27. All right. So the important things within the journal are as follows. First and foremost, he has discovered that the map is a portal into the abyss itself.
oh
But
God.
you have to figure out how to use it properly. Otherwise, it will disintegrate you or kill you or burn you alive. He doesn't know how it kills you, but it's one of those things. So you do have to figure out how to do it, and that's the kind of experimentation that that he was doing. He tried killing people. Unfortunately, that means he is some kind of killer. He did have people killed, and it looks like he killed people, maybe himself. Looks like with limited success. It looks like if you kill a fresh victim within the map, it will actually allow you to open up a safe-ish portal that will allow up to 9 people to go through. So that's one way to enter. He also found that sacrificing magic items is another way that this will actually work. So if you're able to sacrifice a magical object and it's of sufficient magical quality, this will also allow you to get into it. The third way is to find or discover the secret word in Abyssal, which he was never able to do, to also open up a portal at will. This will allow you to open the portal once a day and go to the abyss. Strangely, it seems like depending on how you get in does actually change the destination of the map itself. Killing people, and then as you notice that he actually went to go and like describe these places, but it turns into complete gibberish. You're not sure why, but each description is gibberish. Also, he does talk about um, he does also talk about the reasonings behind why he wants to find a way into the abyss. Um, he was promised by an entity within the abyss that is completely nameless that if he was able to himself find a way to prove his worth to get into the abyss from where he was, this being was going to basically allow him to become an incredibly like handsome, good-looking, basically like person. He talks a lot about his insecurities, about how he's awkward, about how no one actually likes him. This was going to basically make him desirable to people of the opposite sex, but also to people in general, so they would respect him. That's what he was getting out of this. So looks like he was doing all of this just to be well liked and to be attractive. And at the and as you're thumbing through this trying to find anything else, he does reference CO's brother in one of the last entries as a possible way to help him get into the abyss, because this is the very first time that the town has actually had a tiefling that he's had access to. Doesn't say what he's deciding with her brother or whatever, only that he's the key to helping him unlock this and solve it finally, once and for all. That's one of the last entries. The very last entry is, it looks like the day before the invasion, where the entity has told him that the time is finally near, everything's coming together. Things that he's really excited about finally getting into the abyss and meeting this entity. The entity does seem like she's female, but it's very vague. But he talks about like possibly even being in love with this entity, but it's very confusing. So anyway, that's the end of the journal entry. So
Umbra is going to close it, and he is going to be stark white. He's going to look up at CO.
What?
So your brother is apparently the key to accessing that map and getting it to use. Also, there were some references to a certain chaos god in this journal who is promising people very good looks if they get through. And the mayor probably used that journal. That will disintegrate you or kill you if you touch it, but there's a way that you can use it to open a portal into the abyss, which is very bad.
CO will just mouth slightly agape, just blankly stare at Umbra. What do you mean a key?
But the good news is that I think because of that fact, he hasn't interacted with the map too much, and he is still alive, and he should be still on this plane, correct?
Well, he has to be alive. He spoke to me yesterday, and if you're saying these entries were from days ago, then he should be, but technically he doesn't have to be on this plane for me to speak to him. Oh my god, he doesn't have to be on this plane for me to speak to him. That's why I couldn't speak to him. That's probably why I couldn't speak to him, is because I can cast the spell. It has a chance of not working if someone's dead or if they're on another plane of existence.
Do you have a way to confirm this? Can he say how he interacted with the map? I think that's the next step.
I can try. I'll do my best. And Seal will kind of, on that porch area there, she'll just go hop up, not right in front of the door, but close to the door. She'll just hop up and sit, and she'll open her book and take some time to try and message her brother.
Sure.
And she'll tell him, Vant, we found the map. But how were you the key? Where in the map are you?
Yep, no response.
Fuck. She's gonna keep trying. She's gonna sit there and just keep trying for like 10, 20 minutes.
Well, yeah. So as CO keeps trying, going through it, what do you guys want to do?
In that 10 or 20 in that 10 or 20 minutes, Shakulu's gonna circle the entire house, just take note of like the doors and those weird scaffolds that seem to be in random places. Maybe looking for some secret doors or passageways, like I don't know, a hatch that goes into a basement or a door that's designed to not look like a door or something.
Yep. I mean, there's a couple things that you notice going around the house. In the first thing that you notice is that there is weird scaffolding reinforcing that side of the house. The second thing is that as you're talking about the exterior, right?
Yes, he doesn't want to go in. He's not comfortable going in
Yeah.
without the team.
Yeah, the second thing that you notice is that there is some kind of like strange blackish purplish residue in the barrel here. There's grain inside the barrel on the outside, but there's this weird blackish purplish residue. Other than that, the house seems pretty normal.
Interesting. Okay.
Erastus
Yep.
is coming back,
Yep.
all from around the corner, all ironed up and in his suit.
Yep.
And,
Hell yeah.
We'll just clanking, heavy thudding, striding up to the door. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
And
Erastus, before you go in, stay away from the map. Don't even touch it.
I heard
It's bad
I was
news.
there for the Let's go, squishies. And he's gonna walk in.
I'll just quickly head over to Umbra. So did you find anything out about the map inside?
The map's a gateway that can be used in many different ways that can lead to many different places. I think the only thing to assume right now is to know that we know nothing about it. Don't
Well,
interact with it
exactly,
until
that's way too many abilities some consider to be.
if you touch it, you die. And I want no one here dying.
Well, it's a good thing that
Okay.
I was careful enough.
All right. So Erastus, once you get up to this room, you notice the same thing. There's a weird glowing honey stuff. The map looks pretty scary, creepy. It's made out of what looks like maybe demon bones and skin. It's kind of it's
And
dripping with blood. Yep.
It's impossible to use my passive investigation to glean any more useful.
The only thing, yeah, the only thing you notice is it is an actual map of the abyss, but no, you'd have to touch it.
I'm gonna have Bimmy fly over and he's gonna take a snapshot of it.
Yep.
With his little camera shutter eye.
Yep.
And I'll just keep it. I'll keep that map as the image on his right wing.
Okay.
Demon bird. I would like to go. Just keep walking around. I'll go into this door, but I can't open it.
Yeah.
Before
It's
stepping,
locked.
oh,
The door is locked, actually.
before stepping in, Shakulu will call out to the rest of the party, like, "Looks like we're starting," and then he'll fully step in and start rooting around in the main entrance room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm already been in. I'd like to give this door a good kick.
Wait, do we want to go stealthy? I hold up the lockpick.
That's the map, by the way. I'm gonna repost
said-
the map so you can really take a look at it. But
You say that like as my foot's like already like reared back, like I'm on one leg, and then I'll
Mhm.
slowly bring my foot down.
yeah,
Is it
the only thing
trapped?
that you guys notice about this map, by the way, there is a small dream catcher like thing on the end of it, just like in the picture. There is a vial of liquid. You didn't see anything in that vial of liquid, but it looks like he never really figured this map out besides what he was showing you. But there is a small vial of liquid. There could be more things within his journal. It's just going to take a long time to read through it. If you want to try to specifically find anything about this file, you could redo an investigation check in the journal entries, though.
Before I do that, I'm going to turn to Erastus and just go, Erastus, could you just check for traps before I get all up in there?
Whichever traps where, like generally speaking.
In and around the locking mechanism of the door.
Okay, Buster Brown.
Yep.
I'll do it.
All right.
28.
Okay. Yeah. So it doesn't look like it's trapped, but it does look like the lock is made amazingly well. That said, you figured it out. You can pick it.
The lock
You can
is
do.
made
So
pretty
you can
fucking good.
you can now you can try to do your own sleight of hand with these tools to do this at advantage, or if you want to tell someone about it, I lower the DC, but they don't get advantage.
How good are
I'm
you
gonna
with?
tell him and help him. I will do the help action.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah. So this is how you're gonna want to do this. You're gonna and then, Happy Gilmore. I'm teaching you how to golf. It's all in the hips.
Please do not hold my hips, Erastus. All right, so that
Hey,
is a
shut up,
23
shut up, shut
total.
up. I'm in my armor now. You have to listen to me.
That's not how this works. 23
That's how
total.
this works.
He sat
23?
in his
Yep.
own closet, Gage. He is
Yeah, 23 will
probably
open it. So 23, you actually do struggle with this a little bit, but you are able, with Erastus' help, to open this relatively easily. It was really complicated, but you're able to get through it. The door does open. As it opens, first of all, this is the nicest bed you've ever seen. It's
It's
not only does it have what looks like this very large kind of a bear creature that you've never seen before ever. You'd have to do nature check to figure it out. There is some papers over here, but this bed is like expertly made. It's incredibly fine. It's got basically these assortment of pillows that are like basically they have real gold adornments and other things. It's really really nice. Then the other thing that you notice is that there's some kind of equipment in here. He was doing some kind of experimentation. It looks like.
This is me. This is so
Don't
me.
be careful. Don't touch. Okay.
I wanna
Yeah.
go to his equipment.
Yeah.
Fucking amateur.
But sure enough, yeah. I mean, it definitely looks like somebody who had a decent amount of money lived here, and very very nice bed, and yeah, that there is some weird. It looks like maybe alchemical equipment, although it's some kind of experimentation in this room. So.
I'm going to use a slot to cast this
Sorry, what?
You cut out,
detect
Tyler.
magic. I'm going to use a spell slot to cast detect magic.
All right. Okay. As your eyes start to like settle in for this, a couple things that you notice. First and foremost, the bed glows. Also, it looks like so there's some kind of liquid in the machinery that you can tell like drips through pieces of this. That liquid glows. The machinery itself doesn't. Other than that, there's nothing else that's magic. The bed is enchantment. This stuff is transmutation. The liquid is transmutation.
Does that liquid look similar to
No,
the stuff in
it
my
does
water
not.
skin?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look anything like it. When he looks at it a little up closer, it looks like it's a very 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 light blue liquid.
All right, so I'm going to call them all out to Erastus as I see them. Also, I'm still holding the crystal shard. Does that light up?
Yes, I'm sorry. The crystal shard. Yeah, if you have the crystal shard in your hands, it absolutely lights up. It's
Which school magic?
evocation magic. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, no, it's not. Divination magic. Sorry.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to hold on to this one if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And all right, so I'm going to call it all out to Erastus, and then I'm going to slowly walk back
What?
and into
What?
that first room just to make sure we didn't. I called out
Sure.
transmutation liquid.
All right. So the only thing that glows in here besides the map, which glows the brightest out of everything, is these jars which slightly glow. Jars of what looks like honey, but nothing else.
Okay. Are the same school of magic transmutation?
Oh, sorry. So the jars themselves are let me just double check the jars actually. The map, however, is enchantment, evocation, necromancy, transmutation, and
It sounds so nice in Australia right now. Birds singing.
Also, Max, I just want to make sure that I have this correct. You gave me the thing wrapped in like a hand wrapping, a crystal.
Yeah. I sort of wrapped up the journal and the crystal in wraps from my backpack, and then I used the wrappings on my hands to go for the map, but they disintegrated.
Okay.
Conjuration is the other one, but yeah. So that's all the map. So the jars of honey though. Let me just double check those. But I believe, yep, they are transmutation.
All right. I am going to tell Mac, or Look, I want to go check those out. I don't want to do so willy-nilly, so I want to make sure Rastus has help, but I want to check these jars. I want to take these.
Okay.
I would like to. Can I open this window that I'm by?
A window where?
That my character's by.
Oh,
My
let me
main?
find. Yeah, let me find you. Are you on the third floor now?
I'm on the
Oh
floor
no,
with the
no, you're on
bedroom.
the second floor. Yeah, you're on the second floor.
Yeah, I'd like
No,
to open this
no,
window.
none of the windows open. They're all fused shut, and they have like that reinforced leaded glass with what looks like copper going through it, but none of them open. You could
So
break the leaded glass, but you still would have the metal to deal with.
yeah, I'm just gonna take my hammer and like my mason, just like knock a good portion of the glass out so I can yell through it, and I'll
Yeah.
just be like, "Get up here! Some cool things!" To everyone like that's down there.
Yep. You guys see glass like literally start to fall exactly where you are. Fortunately, it doesn't hit anyone. It just hits through here, and then you hear Erastus yell out.
Fakulu will immediately sprint upstairs from the glass. He thinks shit's hitting the fan.
Yep. Yep.
Ellie?
Chris, I'm going to have my familiar come over and land on one of the jars of honey.
Okay. Yeah, nothing happens.
All right, I'm going to start ritual casting Identify on the jars of honey while everyone's making their way up investigating.
Sure. Okay.
CO, when Erastus inevitably yells down at them, she'll relent in trying to message her brother, but pretty much she was just scribbling constantly, "Where in the map are you?" I'm assuming he never answers, so
He doesn't answer you until you get upstairs, CO. But hold on one second. Let's see
oh fuck.
how that works. Hold on. I actually don't know how it works yet, so let's find out. Hold
I'm afraid to find
on.
out if it's working. Please
Oops.
tell me
Wrong
my
one.
brother is the map.
All right. Okay. So
Ooh.
so once you get upstairs, the way that he responds to you is through the book, right? He scribbles in the book
Yeah,
back.
when he responds, I just read what his response is. I don't necessarily hear his voice.
Yeah. Yeah. What he responds to you is tieflings are the key. Study the map.
She's gonna immediately scribble back, What do you mean we're the key? Where are you? I don't care about the map."
Yeah. It's gonna take a little bit to get back from that. If you want to do it once, it doesn't work. But if you want to keep doing it while you get
Yeah,
up here, yeah.
she'll let that one sit and wait,
Okay.
but oh fuck. CO will look around. Like I can see in the Tailspire, like there's random piles of paper and books and things. Um,
Yes.
Haley, did you go
Over here.
upstairs?
Yep. Over
Go
here
yeah,
upstairs.
there are. Yep.
yeah. CO
Over
would have come up to
over here
Erastus.
by the bed. Over here by the bed there are things that are scribbled in. Yep.
So are you by Erastus? Where do you want to be? I'm moving you.
Oh, I'll be in the door. Yeah, about that door frame where I can see those, the nice bed.
I
Um,
just want to be like, look, science. And I point to the things.
oh, that's useful.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well,
And as she is feigning interest, she's going to use Mage Hand to grab the papers off the bedside table
Okay.
and
Yep.
is going to try and see if she can read them.
Sure. Investigation check. There's a ton of them. Go through an investigation check and see what you glean out of all of them. Trying to do this, I assume, quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. Go
But
for it.
she'll entertain Erastus and be like, "Oh, well, what does it do? I have no idea what that is at all."
what does it do, Chris? 28 past investigation.
Right. It looks like it's distilling some kind of like a magical substance.
It's he's making either potioning. He's making potions or some kind of magical beer. Give me a second. He's not really the best alchemist.
Well, I'm sure you can beat him at that. I got a 21 on investigation for those papers.
Okay, so the first and foremost, as you start like craning through them, they are actually all written in Abyssal. Do you speak Abyssal?
No, I speak Infernal, but I know that
That's
Umbra
okay.
speaks
So
Abyssal.
so one of the things you do notice though is when you're going through this, your the name of your sibling is clearly written within this, so you can now point him out to
Oop.
where.
Nope,
Yeah.
fuck it. I have comprehend languages once a day. As soon as she sees her brother's name, she's going
Okay.
to cast comprehend languages because now
Okay.
it's really important.
All right. Okay.
Max,
Perfect. So
Max is just gonna stand on the 3rd floor to make sure nothing.
yeah, so Max, as you do get to the 3rd floor, we'll do this in 1 second. So as you do get to the 3rd floor, that plant seems to shift every so slightly. It's definitely alive. But anyway, as you start to look through, it explains that at duress, your brother was made to inspect the the map, and what ended up happening is your brother was surprised and cut, and his blood was splashed on the map, and that's all it took to basically open the portal. And uh and basically he writes back really quickly, this must have just happened because it's at the end, this is like a hastily written note. I figured this out. He explains what's done. He said, in case I don't make it back from, and then it cuts off again into gibberish that you cannot understand, as if he's either coded this message in or whatever, but it looks like it was intended for someone, and then nothing. Um, but it does look like bleeding is the key, and then
So,
throwing that blood on the map itself.
so were these the mayor's notes, not her
This is the
brother's?
mayor's note. No,
Okay.
this is the mayor. But he talks about specifically about your brother's name. He talks about leading your brother in, getting him to help. That's how his name was involved in all this. This is one of the very last entries. It's just out of order, so it's hard to find. But this is how he did it. Now, what's weird is he left a coded message for someone. Clearly, because you have comprehend languages on. It's not a different language. It's a coded message. But that said, now you know how to use the map.
Yeah.
He's in there with your brother. He is in there with your brother.
So, in any of that, did she catch how or why her brother got involved, or like how? Because to the best of
Yeah, so it does. It does mention that a tiefling. So a tiefling came into town. This guy basically just sweet talked his way into, like, basically he basically conned him into getting up here, and then did a bunch of experimentation on him. He does talk very briefly. Yeah, you got a pretty high investigation check. He actually does drug your brother. It talks about it in the notes. He does a bunch of experimentation, which he even talks about using this device over here. And then sure enough, he figures out blood is the key, splashes. He literally just takes a vial of blood, splashes on the map. It opens up, and he basically sends both of them through the portal. He doesn't say why, because that's where the coded message part gets in, and then nothing.
Ooh, ooh.
But this must have happened the same day. Like, literally, this was written right before he went in. And the only reason he wrote it is because if he didn't come back, he wanted someone else to know this, I guess.
Does he tell everyone that?
CO will just I've always imagined like she's the kind of person who will like very quietly read out loud what she's reading. She'll recite out loud very quietly,
Okay.
and she isn't going to speak very loudly, but she's just as she's absorbing all of that is just going to stand there. And then as she starts reading in more detail about what he did to her brother, she's just going to very gently start shaking, and tears are just going to she's not openly sobbing, but just silent tears are just running all down her face.
Yep.
And after she kind of takes a moment to finish reading it, she'll turn to Erasmus, just looking like shit, not trying to hide the fact that she's crying. He used that on Van.
Use what?
All of this equipment.
The alchemist stuff?
Yeah. He drugged him. Experimented.
That's what that was.
He used it
Uh,
to torture him.
And
Uh,
so where is he?
In the map.
uh,
In the abyss. With the
Shaku-
worship of the Chaos God.
Not now, Red Band.
she's not fully here. We need to calm her down and make a plan.
Hey, you stay out of this. And you will detect, I don't know what his insight was, but there's actually a little bit of edge to my voice.
Yeah.
Might be the first time he's actually gotten a little bit of serious about something.
Yeah. Nice.
It's
So,
fine.
Where did he
development.
go? Who
In the
is he-
map. He cut. Apparently, he cut Van's hand. The blood got on the map. Apparently, tieflings, because of course we do, have some kind of connect to whatever's going on. Van's blood was spilled on the map while he was being tortured, and they both got absorbed into it.
we got it. I mean, that's it. We just put some of your, you have the same blood as him, so wherever it took him, it's gonna take you. We can go get him right now.
Umbra even said in his notes from the mayor that the map will shift. It's going to be like the Doom Vault. It's going to be like the tomb.
Well,
we don't know
at
where.
least if, well, all right. Here. You know, I'm not good at this, but
I know.
we've done a lot of stupid ass, dumb things for no reason, but because we were told to. But at least this time when we do it for a good reason, and because we choose to. So yeah, we might have to do a little bit of searching, and it might be a pain in the ass. And sure, Shakulu might die, but I mean, sometimes you just gotta, go in head first for a good reason, and I think this is a good reason. And maybe the mayor is wrong because he seems, if he's torturing people, like kind of an idiot. And maybe if you have different blood, it shifts it, and if you have the same blood, which you and your brother do, maybe it's like a, I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Because I'll go to there if it helps. I don't know.
Seal
I'm
will,
gonna find out.
Seal will just look up at Erasmus, and she's not going to say anything, but she's just going to, like, gently hug him. And she's not going to say anything, but she's just going to hug him for, like, probably an awkward Erasmus amount of time. Like, she's going to hug him for a good minute.
Oh.
He's watching. You're embarrassing me.
Right. Well, the best course of action. I think he has more journal entries and notes scribbled and nonsense around here, but Shakulu, I don't know if this would make any sense to you or maybe even Max being from here, but
Oh, and by the way, comment on that, what just happened, and I will feed you that spear.
On what? Connection between squad mates? That's
Shut
normal.
up about it. And I'm gonna walk out.
he's particular. 13-year-olds are, but I think before we dive headlong into this, we need to be as best prepared as we can. I don't know where in the abyss they went. I don't know why they went into the abyss, besides the fact that they are trying to please a chaos god, and that is a whole other issue that we can discuss at length later when it's safer. But
You do realize that going into an area beneath hell is suicide unless we at the very minimum have a way of getting out, right?
Sir, it's not beneath hell. Common misconception. It's a perpendicular plane of existence.
Really? Thank you. I did not know that. I thought it was like, infinite layers that he's like makes gestures with his hands, like up and
like
down
a
and stuff.
It's like a stack of pancakes that goes all the way to the top.
Oh, so it is beneath.
No, I said all the way to the top, but also all the way to the bottom.
He just scratches his head and says,
Don't
We
you
can't-
worry about it. There's
Erasmus,
people
we
here to
talked
do
about
that
your
for you.
communication skills.
we the point is we can't go in unless we know we're going to come out, unless the plan is to die, in which case I'm not going to be a part of that.
Made me forget
Chris,
out of character how it
Yes.
works.
Yep. Go ahead.
just double checking the pendant that I have.
Yep.
You said that was like a key or something to the abyss, right?
That's right.
Okay.
You
I
did not go
don't-
in this way. You did not go in this way at all.
I did not go in this way, but
But that could be but you did get out of the abyss with that. And that could be the party's potentially only way to get out. So yes, and you can. So this is what you can. This is what you remember. You remember that if you get to any one of the caves that you see in the abyss, that's just like the cave that you got into, you will know how to leave through your pendant. So you actually do have a way out of one of the worst places in all of existence, and you've already survived it.
Yeah. So I would have maybe heard like I maybe would have heard a bit of this. So I'll come down from my vantage point area. If the thing will let me.
Yeah. This is the only
Um,
magic item you have, but quite frankly, maybe one of the most important and powerful if you're going down this route. So
I say, we do have a way to get out, and I pull out the pendant with the piece of obsidian on the end.
Mhm.
I used this to get out of the abyss when I was there. If we find ourselves in the same situation, we use this.
Let me send some correspondence and inform the soldiers, and then we're gonna jump into hell. And Shakulu makes like a gesture with his hand, like Jesus Christ, what are we getting into? Sort of. And can I find a pen and paper somewhere in this house?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
assuming.
there's actually a pen and paper over here on this desk if you want
All
to
right.
find one. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna start writing a letter to the what's it called, the Lord's Alliance, just as a sort of like, hey, here's what happened to that city I was sent to, or that village I was sent to, and here's what's happening now.
Sure.
I'll send you specifically what I write in a minute, but
Sure.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
you'll
doing.
have to give it to the guards outside, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, and when I do that, I will explain the situation of what's going on to the guards outside as well.
Okay, sure.
In passing,
Yep.
the spare sheets of paper, were they worth 50 gold?
No,
Shit.
not even close. Not even close. No. No,
Guys,
that's very, very special paper that literally sparkles inlaid with threads of gold and silver and other things. That's why it's so expensive. And also the ink has gems encrusted in it. Yeah, it's very specific, different kinds.
I think we need to give everyone the chance to walk away here right now.
Yeah.
It was very clear with what we're about to do. And
Yeah.
if we go in and things turn bad, I don't want to hear the first syllable of whining or whinging or bitching. None of it.
Yeah. And Sia will stop Shakulu before he starts to write, and she'll look pointedly at him. Shakulu, you've done more than enough for us. You've been a phenomenal ally, and I will always be grateful to you for this, but you don't have to go. This, admittedly, isn't your fight.
Yep. You got a really powerful spear out of it, so you can just take that and walk.
I would go to the ends of whatever plane of existence to find him. He's all I have left. But I don't expect anyone else to make that sacrifice, and I wouldn't be the kind to hold that against you. It's not your fight.
Shakulu stops the letter he's writing and sort of leans on the table and looks at her, and he glances at Orasis, and he looks back at her and says, "Have you ever heard of the word Acheron before?"
Have I ever heard of the word Acheron before?
I think you're trying to say acronym.
No. uh, Acheron is a war cry of my people. According to the shamans, it is a place, and the gaze seems to drift, almost like he's like thinking of a pleasant memory. Um, and he says, it is a battlefield. When our gods killed the Orcish gods, it was there. When the demonic hordes were first routed, it was there. And he shakes his head, and he focuses back on the conversation he's having. War is in my blood. And he smirks and says, as much as I enjoy it, it does get a little tedious from time to time. But I don't think I'll ever turn away a good fight. And who knows? Maybe my ancestors will pull me out of the abyss when they finally find a way to break into it. Or maybe that's where my fight is.
Well,
Okay.
if you're ready and willing, I'd be more than happy to have you with us. And I can't begin to thank you enough for this, Shikulu.
He turns back to his letter and he says, think nothing of it. We don't know enough. We don't know each other enough for pleasantries like that yet. Besides, I might get stronger out of this. And that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, and Tio will look to everyone else because I can see the minis have congregated.
Some of them.
The same. It goes for all of you too. I consider you, and I'm sorry if this comes off odd, but after everything we've been through, I do consider all of you family as much as I consider Erasmus and Van's family. And while I'd be eternally grateful to you for coming, I wouldn't blame you in the slightest for just bowing out now. This
Yeah,
is my fight. It's something I know Erasmus and Shikulu are willing to do, but I would never, ever expect that of somebody. So if this isn't something you'd want, if it's not a way you'd want to die, then I respect that much. Imagine Nith would have a place for you to stay until you figure out what you did want to do.
CO,
sound.
when you guys found me on that island off the shore, I saw a bit of myself in you. I'm much like me, you are an orphan, and I know I've frankly never had the chance to experience what it's like to have a family. But I feel the sorrow. I sort of empathize with people who do have families and do lose them. And I I made a promise to you and to myself that I'd help you find your brother, as I can tell that he means the world to you, and you'd go so far to find him. And I frankly admire that about you. Even at my age and the fights that I've endured and gone through, I'm still learning so much more uh, through you guys, especially. So, for what it's worth, I want you to think of this as our fight. Our fight to at least put a halt to what's been going on with your brother and this mayor, and to help relieve some of your worries, as it doesn't take a genius to figure out that they've been wearing on you for quite a while. And
Yeah.
besides, it's the least I can do. You guys saved my life. I think it's about time I help save yours.
Yeah, Sia will just smile warmly at Max, and she'll kind of just look to everyone else and just wait for them. Because she said her piece, she means every word of it, and she would never hold it against somebody for not wanting to go to the dregs of hell for someone they've never met nor know.
Let's do
uh,
it.
sh- give me a second. Give me a second. Shakulu folds up the letter, goes down, explains everything to the general, gives him the letter, and then he comes back up with his spear at the ready.
Chris, am I all set with that ritual?
Yeah. So you did a ritual identify, right?
Yes, on the honey pots.
Yep. So both are magic. The honey itself is magic, but not a magic item. However, inside each of the pots of honey is a small what looks like a beetle scarab. Each one of these is a magical item that once you don't have to attune to this. It's basically a reanimated beetle. You have no idea why this would be the case because it's necromancy magic. You basically like fish the beetle out of the honey, and when it's ready to use, you bring the beetle back to life. That's all it does.
But
All right, I will.
However, the honey itself is magical. If it is a potion of some kind or whatever, you would have to taste it to figure it out.
Identify wouldn't give
But
me.
there is, yeah, but right, it just doesn't work on potions. Identify doesn't work on potions.
All right, I will take the beetles. I'll collect up as many as I can.
Yep.
I'll put them in my component pouch, and then I will hand whoever has the bag of holding. I will hand all of the honeys to and tell them to put in the bag of holding. It's a potion of some sort.
Yep.
I also found strange things. I'm not sure how dangerous they are. Also, if I have 10 minutes while he's talking to the general, I will do one more before we jump into the abyss.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I'm
there's
just going to
there's
cast.
still an upstairs area. And there
Yeah.
was, I just want to remind the others that there was some humming coming from one of the doors up there.
Yeah, Pan would say we should probably check out the rest of the house because who knows what somebody who is messing with an abyss map may have left here.
Wait,
I agree.
where was that? Where was that chest at that you mentioned? There was a locked chest. Was it on the first floor?
The locked chest was on the first floor.
Uh, it's still taking a minute for him to do it, so everyone else can do other things. But when he's done with that, as he's walking back in, Shaklu's gonna see that chest and notice that no one's messed with it, and just say, "Ah, fuck it, might as well." And he'll like drag the spear across the lock so you can just open it easily.
Yep. So yeah, so if you go through and try to like break the sphere with the lock and go through it, it does work. Just do me a huge favor and give me a sleight of hand check to see how much you go through the box and everything.
Ooh, let's see.
It's a little too easy to break this lock with the sphere, so
Oh no.
that's all right.
No,
No,
I
it's
have a feature that I might be able
okay.
to
Okay.
use. Let me see.
Yep.
Where is it? Oh no,
Me and Mac went upstairs.
that's only for saving throws. So yeah, I can't re-roll that.
That's fine. So what ends up happening is you definitely break the lock and go through it, but you poke through the actual structure in itself, and it actually eats up some of the stuff that you go through. But as you open it, you realize that you have unfortunately cut through some of the gold coins that were in that box. But there's 50 gold coins, and there's also what look like basically crystal vials. So they're vials of like almost like faceted crystals, and inside each of these crystal vials is what looks like a small blue gem. 50 gold coins that are usable now. There are some broken gold coins that you can melt down as gold. There's like 6 or 7 of those that are just ruined. You wouldn't be able to use them as currency. But it's still gold. And then there's also these 3 little crystal vials with these sapphires inside of them.
Okay, how many fragmented gold coins were there?
7.
7. Thank you very much. And 3 crystal vials.
Yep, but that's it. It's just money and
Okay.
those things. Yeah. All right. So so it depends. So before we get into activating the map too, first of all, CEO, how do you want to do that? How do you want to try to activate this map?
We
So-
could go upstairs, by the way, Kaylee.
CO.
Oh, you went upstairs? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want her to do it. You know, if
Yeah.
she's not aware that people are missing, it
No.
affects the decision.
CO is like, as Shakulu left, she would have agreed when Pan said, "Let's continue searching," because there are still questions that she wants answered, like where in the abyss did they go? Why did the Chaos God have them going into the abyss? She wants to dig around for like supplies and answers before we do this. Otherwise, at this point, the only thing she can think of to open the map is to maybe, I mean, the note said that his blood was on the map. To the best of her knowledge, she would just use that glass shard Umbra has to cut her hand open and like throw it on the map. Otherwise, unless we find
Yep.
something else, no idea.
Well, do you do that? Do you
No.
do that while they're upstairs? Okay,
Absolutely not.
You wait. Okay.
I
All
don't
right. So
think
if you
it's
guys,
gonna
so
happen.
Erasmus, if you want to go up, so first and foremost, that plant is moving around, shifting and moving around. It's unsettling, obviously, and doesn't look nice. But other than that, yeah, this is a locked door, Erasmus. If you want to try to open it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep an eye on the plant and sort of
Sure.
keep my body in the way of it and everyone else.
Sure. Yep.
Also, did we in the bedroom? Did we want to look at that chest in the corner?
No, I think it's already.
Sure.
Was that the one with the gold pieces?
No,
No.
the gold piece was downstairs. There is a chest in the corner, but you'd have to look at it to see what's in it. It's not locked though.
Yeah. As soon as I'm finished with this identify, I can go over and investigate it.
Okay.
Chris, that'll be a 19.
All right, for investigation. Yeah. So
No, for the thieves' tools.
Oh, you're trying to unlock it. Okay. Yeah, you're able to unlock it. It takes actually a little bit. Surprisingly, these are really well made locks, but you are able to unlock it. It just takes you 15 minutes. You expect it to be able to open in a couple seconds, and it's much more complicated. As you open the room, a couple of different things. This is a strange room because there's a bunch of dust in here, but there's also bones of just crazy ass creatures you've never seen before. Look demonic, with some glowing large crystals and then some books. And as you open the books, they're all in Abyssal. These books over here, though, are that they're all in common. You go through and you look at them; they're all in common. But you notice that the books themselves are actually just the first, or they're actually like fake books. Essentially, it's very strange, but a couple pages are in common and they all talk about different things, but then the rest is just blank. So you think they look fake? It's weird for sure. There's also these it's not the same crows that you saw in the Tomb of Horrors or whatever, but there are these large avian bird skulls, but they look demonic. Everything, all the skeletons in here look demonic. This looks like some kind of weird demonic room. Also, you notice this is the room that's reinforced. This is also the same room that's got that reinforced scaffolding underneath it. But anyway, go ahead.
Cool.
Yep.
With my passive 28 investigation, which got
Yep.
on your god level,
Yep,
would I be able to find out if there's any like hidden text in the books, the blank books? Just like rifling through it and flipping through it.
So there's nothing. So yeah, with your investigation, you do notice that these are set up to basically look like they probably do house some kind of invisible writing. That's what it looks like to you. You're just gonna have to figure out how to get that writing to be visible. But that said, with your past investigation, you also know that these were demon bones, and it certainly looks like whatever this room was used for. It's possible that this is also some kind of ritual room. The reinforcement might have something to do with the fact that this is the room where somebody was doing some kind of complicated rituals. Maybe this is where he did his sacrifices to kill the actual people to open up the portal. You're not exactly sure.
This would be like the
There's something
torture room where Van
M-
was tortured.
Well, maybe it actually looks more like it looks more like a demonic research room, but for whatever reason, maybe the rituals were also put in here when he had to kill people and stuff. But yeah, it does look like some kind of demonic, basically academic room. This is a room with basically a bunch of stuff on demons and maybe like academically demons. Also, these books have some kind of hidden knowledge, just not sure how to get to it yet. But these weird glowing crystals are strange.
I'd like to touch one of the crystals.
Yeah, it just has a soft bluish light to it.
I'll
Yep.
pocket all three of them.
Okay. Yep.
And at random, so one of the books by the desk, which are an
Yeah.
epistle, I'll grab
Yeah.
the one that's at the top of the stack. Looks like maybe the one
Okay.
with the least amount of dust on it that's been the most
Yeah.
recently opened.
Yep.
Anything else that I think is of note? And I'm gonna grab at random. This is for the. I mean, well, one thing I wanted to try first is grabbing one of the blank books and putting it under the rib cage and looking at it through the ribs.
Okay, yeah. So you do that, and nothing happens. But with your passive 26 investigation,
28.
what you do, or 28, what you do notice is that as a small portion of the light that's sticking out of your pack and everything does pass the edge of the book, you realize, oh, that's how you used the crystals to read the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, so you
well,
could put a crystal here and go through it, but yeah.
I will do that. I'll just start absorbing what knowledge I can, and to not take up too much time, I will do a very quick cursory glances using my investigation through the books to determine patterns and
Yeah, you start
anything
trying
that
to
can help
speed
us
read
out.
to get the most information about the abyss before you leave. Absolutely.
Also, names of the titles of the books, what they seem to concern, and I
Yep.
will call out to Mac and Pan my findings, and I will turn the game over to someone else.
Yep. Okay. Right.
It is 10:39 though.
Yep.
So maybe we can stop here.
Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah, we can stop here. The one thing that you guys are gonna have to, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because there is a big decision to be made that you guys can discuss for next week. What's going to end up happening when CO activates this thing is that that's why I put everything in Discord. There are 4 different portal images that are gonna go through. 5, I'm sorry. 5 different portal images that are gonna go through. You're gonna have to pick one. These are all different destinations that are going to unlock with CO's blood, and you're going to have to pick one. Even worse, when you pick one, depending on the destination, it's going to be it's a timing thing. So you're all going to have to decide when you want to go, and then we have to see if you actually get the timing correct. But you will be able to pick one of these locations, and then we'll get into this next week. But whatever one you pick also determines how easy it is to get to it. So you could bleed into the other ones, is what I'm saying. So you guys will have to think about that for next week.
But we don't know
Alright,
which
cool.
one her brother's on, so we could totally choose the wrong one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea.
There's no indications on the map, like.
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing. No.
So
There's
that's
nothing.
another benefit of investigating would be we might be able to find out where they went, and we still have that code on the end of the sheet, which I don't know if that can be resolved quickly to wrap this up faster, or if that's a longer, more elaborate check for next week.
Yeah.
The
Is it
code
in
on the sheet.
infernal letters? I don't.
So
You're talking about the
I had comprehend languages up and I couldn't read it, so CO's best guess is that it's a code of some kind. But she
Yes.
doesn't know what kind of code, but she would have deferred to Umbra, Erasus, or Shakulu, knowing that Shakulu has background in military. Max knows something about this area. Umbra and Erasus are just the smartest people she's ever met. So
Yeah, we'll do that next week, but that's exactly right. You guys might be able to figure that out through the coded message stuff too. But yeah, so that's something to think about for next time. But you are gonna have to make a decision. Each one of these places is drastically different within the abyss, so keep that in mind as well. But yeah.
Just real quick, does any place is any one of those similar to what I encountered?
Oh, unfortunately, the only one that's even close is you saw these. So in the second image with the adventurers, and by the way, when you look at this, you're not going to see those 3 people. Unfortunately, that's just the art within the module. But the giant, smooth caves, you absolutely went through. You actually saw how they were created. They're created by huge, monstrous, demonic worms that basically burrow in and go through these things. You saw it once. You were in one of them and you saw this massive thing go through. You hid from it, but that's how they're created. That's the only one that looks even remotely familiar. All the other ones are completely foreign to you.
Okay.
No,
But
it's
anyway,
not taken.
yeah. So
And
Alright.
Chris, I just had two questions. The chest I had before in the radius of detect magic, did I get anything from it?
the chest you had before in the radius of detect magic.
In the corner of the bedroom?
Oh no, nope.
Okay. And then just so I don't forget, the identify on the crystal shard that I
Yes,
did.
yeah. The identify in the crystal shard. Did you do that as well? Did you do another ritual identify?
Or
Yeah, he was
excuse
doing
me,
it while we were up here.
I
Well,
couldn't do
no,
it myself, but I would
he did
have.
it on the potions. Yeah, he did it on the potions. He didn't do it on the shard.
I wouldn't be able to do. Also, important note to make. I would have given it to Pan to do the identify instead of, because she was right by me before.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair then. Yes. So it's going to tell you that this is a piece, a sliver of a stone speaker shard. So it's not a magic item in itself. However, it will be useful in the right circumstances.
Oh.
All right, that is good to know.
So it will not give you advantage on intelligence checks. However, in the right location, this can be used to discern secret knowledge. But this is a tiny sliver of that shard.
Can we use it on the note?
You'll have to see. Yeah, you'll have to try to figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah, remind me next week, and I absolutely will try.
Yep.
I've been taking furious notes. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right. Wow. This is one of the first groups that's actually gotten into a hook. That it's not the first. I mean, Group A did get into a hook of Rhymer the Frost Maiden, but this will be the next official module we go down if you guys do this.
We're gonna go into the abyss.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Which is basically the start of the campaign. Once you get into an official module, that's really the start of the entire campaign, and from there, it's all hooks that I have. But that's those are the real intros to the actual game we're playing. So, good stuff.
All right.
Crazy.
Well, I think it's obvious what we're doing.
8 levels of intro. That's crazy. Jesus.
What's also crazy is the fact that I did not customize this for CO. So the only way to use this map is to have Tiefling blood, which you guys certainly couldn't have had. And like if you were another random group, for instance, if Group C finds this thing, which is also really, truly, easily possible, this is always in Nith, regardless of CO's situation. You just have to have a Tiefling. Otherwise, there's other really hard ways and dangerous ways to get into it, but some of them are death. So yeah, so that's fun for me. That actually worked out. So
What happens
Oh.
if you put turtle blood on it? Do you go to like
yeah,
somewhere pleasant?
The elemental plane of
Elemental plane of water.
yeah. Chris, I just wanted to give you props. Despite it being in the player's handbook, you're the first, not just DM, but person I've ever seen actually reference the fact that most tieflings, like, people don't trust them because devil people.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you'll see in the campaign. It's actually unfortunately, right now in the current climate of D&D, all of that's actually terribly bad. But yeah, I
Yeah,
support that because it's the way it was intended and supposed to be. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, good job. Thanks for doing this, and yeah, we'll start up next week exactly where we left off. Poor Gretna, she's gonna start in the abyss.
God.
Yeah.
Bad place to join in.
We going to hell.
And I found some shit from messaging the others with my book early in the session, and Gretna's gonna come.
Say nothing. I was waiting for you to say something. You didn't say nothing.
Yeah, well, admittedly, this is priority, and we'll have some downtime next session for me to draw.
We're gonna have downtime in the abyss.
No, I mean, I imagine we're gonna get supplies and stuff before we dive head first into the abyss, and in that time, she's gonna be like, "Hey, So while we're gone, Group C is going to implode. Who'd have thought?
Had to
Oh,
fucking-
jeez.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to figure out as a group. The
Well,
go,
there's
no go
yeah. The thing with all that
of,
too is
Ezekiel.
that once you figure out what's going on with that, you'll have a greater understanding of these things too. As the modules pass or fail, it is going to be dramatic effects upon the world. So, for instance, if Frost Maiden fails, or whatever happens, and it might be terrible. You have to just wait and see. Same thing if this module passes or fails. Same thing with all the modules that are up and active. Rise of Tiamat's a big one. If that one fails,
Oh God.
you know, yeah, Tiamat comes back into Faerun for sure. So, stuff like that. So, I mean, they all have these kind of
No
drastic.
one wants
Yeah,
that.
exactly. They all have these kind of drastically, like, basically impactful events that will happen. So, even Undermountain, even the Undermountain one. So, you have to wait and see what happens. But
Wait,
you
it's
can
a
ignore
fail.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. You say failure, but I hear success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the Abyss is
Well-
a pretty big one. Like Into the Abyss, I don't know if anyone knows anything about that module or not, but it's a pretty big one on what happens if you pass fail that one. So
Yep, we'll figure. I mean, we're gonna find out. I'm
Yeah.
certain. We could if Group A goes to Avernus to fuck around with Tiamat, we could meet them to just go through the Blood Gate and meet on the other side.
Meet for lunch on the Plains of Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little
you guys
sticks.
have to clock to CO doesn't have that book anymore, so that's gonna be a fun explanation.
Well,
You lose the book the session before we step
Lose it.
into the abyss.
Not lose it.
Yeah.
Admittedly, handed
no,
it.
you lost it. You lost it. You lost it.
Yep.
I didn't
Accident.
lose it. I didn't lose it. I just threw it into the fire. Why are you getting on to me about it?
I didn't lose it. I accidentally handed it to my patron for her to not give it back, like a shitty librarian.
I
But
didn't
yeah,
lose the heroin. I just gave it to an addict.
And
I
by the
just
way, just let me know. But now that you guys have had a couple sessions with both players, and Shakula, Jess, just like I told you, what ends up happening is the group ultimately gets to decide if the new players are in or not. So you guys get to vote and go through it. My guess, Jess, is you're totally fine, so don't worry about this. You guys have to vote on Ezekiel and just let me know.
I wouldn't be so sure of that.
I like the mic close up. That was funny. But yeah, I mean, it's your group. Whatever you guys decide. I really like the dynamic of like, hey, new guy, you're the new guy. Like, it makes sense because like you guys have been through some shit together. So whatever happens, hey, it's your group. Nah, I can't say much about it.
Okay. You're...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
cool.
just
I like
just
it.
let me know what you guys do decide with that, and I'll pass or fail Ezekiel, whatever you guys want. So.
Yeah.
I just wish we'd actually gotten to a little bit more of him because I mean the 2 sessions he's here, he's very
Not here.
aggressively not participating in combat, and then the next session after that he leaves a half hour early, and this one he doesn't show up to.
No,
If he
that,
shows
that,
up.
that bothers me more than you guys, but like I said, it's ultimately your decision, and then I'll just make a call. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me it's
Yeah.
a no go.
Yeah, I'm tempted to side with Gage on this one.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.